Hello and welcome to eRacing GP. This is Global Edition 14. 14 seasons we've done already. My name's Alex Young, and with me is Victor Katz.
Yeah.
Victor, great to have you back. Last time you were with us was like 10 seasons ago. How have you been, man?
Oh, man, it's been quite a journey, hasn't it, for the both of us since those days, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we've done so much racing. We've worked together on some projects. Some projects we've gone and done all these amazing stuff. I mean, it's good to have you back.
Yeah.
I mean, do you even remember doing Global Edition with us?
Oh, man, of course I do. It's like one of my earliest memories of working with you in the first place.
Absolutely.
So glad to be back in the seat with you again, and I'm looking forward to see what we have in store tonight.
Absolutely. Great to have you with us. I mean, this is a living legend here for the esports community. And of course, we're at Global Edition 14, 4 rounds, first of 4 rounds. And we have 4 different classes. We've got copper, bronze, and then coming up last will be silver and gold. So that's to look forward to. But let's talk about the track we're driving at today. And that's, of course, Hockenheim, but not just any Hockenheim, the old one.
The old one. Oh, my goodness. Like, some of my earliest memories watching Formula One was literally right on this track, seeing Michael Schumacher winning his first German Grand Prix, and like seeing all of that happen on this track. Like, wow, it's great to see that we're going to be able to have our e-racers actually take the challenge.
Absolutely. It's 6.8 kilometers, lots of overtaking, long straights. Okay, let's talk about the categories, of course. Let's look back at the previous categories of Global Edition, 13 in fact. And you can see there, you got gold from the left, silver, bronze, and copper. Naqib Aslan winning his 4th gold class win. So Vladi Malik dominating silver in the last Global Edition. And Kanzani Ramdani did a great job in bronze. Very competitive class bronze, and he managed to sneak the win. New guy, Raja Amaral, he did a really good job in copper, and you'll actually see him in bronze today, so exciting driver to watch out for. And of course, in Global Edition 13, let's have a look at the team standings. MPRGP won, beat Stratos Motorsports, who've won a ton of championships. So the first championship for MPRGP, well done, from Indonesia. And then onto the team standings, of course, Malaysia winning again. It's quite an easy win for Malaysia. Actually, not quite easy. Actually, Indonesia was pretty close there as well.
Yeah, it looks neck to neck to me.
Yeah, actually, neck and neck. You're right. So maybe Indonesia will take the win this time.
That's going to be something to look forward to. I mean, this is certainly a lot of representation, really, across the region inside each of these categories here. So very much looking forward to how these, how these show themselves on track here.
Absolutely. So practice is just finished for the Cooper Copper class. You can see it just counting down right now. You can see what sort of drivers are out there. And you can see, let's talk about the cars. Copper this weekend, we're actually with a different car. Normally we are in the, let's see who else is there. We're normally in the, what car we used last time? The MX-5 last time. But we've switched cars, the GT4 Porsche. Quite a nice car, isn't it?
Oh, it's quite an upgrade, really, actually, compared to the MX-5. I mean, for one, the engine layout is completely different, so I think these guys will have to learn right off the bat. But just like the MX-5, if I'm not mistaken, both of these are H pattern shifters, technically.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, I do believe they still use the paddle shift anyway, right?
Yeah.
But nevertheless, like, the real car itself is such a joy to drive. The GT4 is not too powerful, but it's not too weak either. So it's like a perfect entry point for these guys to get a taste of GT racing. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's a nice car to drive. Like you said, it's a perfect starter for these guys. Not too quick. It's kind of strange. You drive some of the cars, like the GT3 cars, are more downforce. If you want to drive them slow, they're actually easier to drive than a car without downforce. But of course, the speeds are so much higher, and I don't know where Rifki is going. He's going to an interesting spot there, just parking the car up.
Getting some tea with the marshals, I think.
Yeah, but in any class, doesn't matter what you drive, that last tenth or two is always the hardest to find, and any car you have to be able to adapt to drive. Really.
Yeah. So speaking of front runners, Amanveer Singh is right now out on a practice. While we're still in overtime, actually, practice has just about ended right now, so unfortunately, we wouldn't get much running out of that so far. So, As it stands right now, we've got a 6-minute qualifying session, proceeding with two races, 15 minutes each. The first one, I believe, is going to be in a standard formation. The second one will be in reverse grid.
Absolutely, that's right. And of course, quickest in practice was Duran from Sri Lanka. So it'll be interesting. 18.6. I think that's a quick lap time. I heard some of the other guys might have been dipping to low 18s. We'll see if that happens in qualifying later. Full grids, 30 cars, and of course, we have to welcome our new sponsor. You might have seen them on the cars, Cooler Master. They're actually starting to make sims, so it's great to have them on board with us. And we'll talk a bit more about them as we go along through the Global Edition. But welcome, Cooler Master. Glad to have you on board. And yeah, watch out for the signage on track and on the cars.
Of course, Cooler Master, great to hear that they're in support of this because, I feel that PC gaming and sim racing literally goes hand in hand. We can't really have one without the other. And it's great to see a big brand like Cooler Master actually paying attention to what's happening, what's developing right now in the Malaysian sim racing scene. All
right, let's go on track right now. I think qualifying has just started, so we'll see where we can go. Let's see if we can find Durant. There he is, because he was quickest in practice, so let's ride on board with him. Try and find his name as we go. There he is. Didn't pick the livery car, decided to go with the white car. Interesting enough.
I mean, everybody's just crowding on track right now. So.
Actually, I knew he'd be quite fun to drive. Actually, Adre Amit might be quite good to drive. He's only 9 years old. You can actually get him in the Zoom here. I love following him. He's been driving Global Edition since he was 7. So he's only 9, but he's actually getting quite quick now. Racecraft, for someone so young, is certainly coming along as everyone's on the outlap. So let's follow him for the first time lap, see how he does.
This really evokes my memory of going to go-karting tracks and seeing the 3-year-old, 4-year-old karters beating everyone.
Yes.
So this kid is literally going to be going places, I think.
Absolutely. A little bit of net code with his car. I don't know if that's on his side. But let's hopefully stay clear for his runs.
Yeah, usually if you're in an online race and there's there's someone with bad net connection, usually you want to give that person a little bit more space because it can be a bit unpredictable when racing alongside those kind of people. And expect now that we can see that one of these drivers is having that issue, perhaps you'll be cognizant of the other drivers. Give the guy a little bit more room than normal.
Okay, the 9-year-old. As we come to the last part of this track, this is the stadium section. Gosh, this next left-hander coming up, I remember this as the Vettel corner.
For unfortunate reasons.
I remember him Ferrari going straightly.
Yeah.
That's where the championship really started to go away from him big time.
So
okay, well, let's try and ride on board for him as he starts his lap, see what sort of clean lap he can do. Here we are riding from the top of his Porsche.
Yep. Straight into the main straight here is going to be a quick right-hander coming off of this. So is he going to fully commit? He's going to lift a little bit.
Yep. Small bit of a break. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, nice and tidy. Really, using every bit of that curb as well on the exit. Yeah. So now it's just pretty much going to be smooth sailing because Hockenheim, the old version, is a lot of these long straight sections, isn't it?
Yep, it's just like Monza. Long straights. So top speed is really important. And of course, coming down the chicanes, interspersed by lots of chicanes, 3 chicanes. This is the first of the chicanes. You gotta climb the curb, which Adre does nicely. Could have cut a little bit out of shape towards the second apex, so didn't get as close as he would have liked to. Yeah. But still, decent exit. And another long straight. I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
On and on, and through the trees as well, So it certainly makes for a really interesting view, especially when you're in the cockpit. But these chicanes, I expect a lot of these will definitely catch people out because for the most part, it's just mainly you having to pay attention to when those are going to be coming up and making sure you take those without bleeding too much speed or time.
Yeah, absolutely right. Looks like a decent first lap. He will get 2 laps here, so can use the first lap as a bit of a banker lap as it comes to the 3rd chicane.
Yeah, and this one's a little bit different. This goes left to right instead of the previous 2 where it's from right to left. Yeah. So a little bit of a change up, but nevertheless, I think Andre just did a really nice clean exit out of that.
remember the old days in the early 90s, that last chicane was a left-hander, I think. Was it a left-hander? It was a different sort of chicane. He's not using all this skateboard on the left, so Adrian's going to cost him a bit of time there. He's not going as wide as the other guys, so his minimum speed through that right-hander won't be brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit funny as well because on this track here, obviously you have the distance markers literally on the road there, but then I don't think the drivers realize that you can actually use that area, to enter that corner.
Yeah, that's right. On the sim, you got to use as much road as you can. We don't actually penalize people for track limits, but the game will. So it's up to the game to manage that. Not a great last corner there for Adrian, but he comes across the line. And, 18.5. That's a good lap time. That's quicker than anyone went in practice. He's got one more lap here. Let's go watch someone else right now. But that's a good banker lap there by Adrian. And you know what? I think he can find some more time.
For sure.
So that time, 18.5, though no one's gone quicker at the moment, it is vulnerable.
Yeah, the two closest competitors right now to try to beat that time here is the one we're riding with right now, Azib Shami Mokhtar, and we also have Duran also setting a 220 as well in the plain white livery car. So he's just finished his lap now. It's chasing after the two here, see whether or not he can beat under the 220 mark here. But Andre certainly has already shot off the first volley here, hasn't he?
Absolutely. Really, the 9-year-old, he's not had pole position in Global Edition yet, so it'll be interesting to see if he can do that next time. Okay, let's see who else should be out there that would be quite good. Trying to look for some of the younger drivers that could come good. Let's have a look at Rahul Dev, also known as Justin. Oof. Again, the internet netcode as well.
Yeah, and you can already see a bit of damage on Rahul's car too, so he hasn't exactly had a clean lap, it looks like. Nevertheless, he's currently hasn't actually set a time yet, although we are currently running overtime, so it's probably going to be this lap itself that will make it all for him. Unfortunately, he's got traffic in front of him. He's going to have to deal with that. Unfortunately, there's no other way for it to go beside. Hopefully, a netcode situation wouldn't affect his lap times too much. Let's see whether or not he'll be able to get himself on the board, though.
Yeah, no, it's a disaster qualifying. He's not managed his qualifying well at all. He didn't get a first lap, and he's put himself in traffic for the second lap. So, yeah, this is the part. I mean, Copper is for the least experienced of all the drivers we've seen tonight. So this is part of the learning curve.
Indeed it is, and again, like a short qualifying session like this usually means a lot of pressure. There's a bit of contact there. Rahul was sustained from someone just turning into the track there, and that's certainly not going to bode well for his attempt on this lap here. Nevertheless, he will still soldier on here. Again, 220, or rather being under 222, will guarantee you a top 5 or maybe even a top 6 slot here. Xavier Koo has made his way up into the top 5 now with a time of 2 minutes 21.4, only to get beaten by Megat Ayman, who comes across with a 221. And Rai Musid comes in with a 220.9, just edging away Megat Ayman from that 6th place. Duran comes back hard, so does Zarif Adam, who sets a 219.1. Times are still coming in here. Raul Def now trying to hold off some traffic here as he attempts to clear the last few corners now. Is he going to be able to get the time up in the top 10 here, or is he going to have to try harder in the race? Comes across the line. What is his time? 17th place is the best he could do here with a time of 223.25.
Yeah, it's a disaster for him. I know in practice he was in the 18s, but pole position. Azim Shami there. Wow, what a great lap by him. 18.3. So low 18s was possible. Yeah, I would love to see him put him onto Zoom, but he's not there at the moment. But yeah, good job by Copper drivers at the moment.
Indeed it is.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. So interesting qualifying there. Some youngsters there on the front row. Copper class qualifying is done. We got a couple minutes break, and we'll be back with the race start for race one of 2, of course. And what we've seen historically with the Copper drivers are normally the first lap is quite busy. We'll see a lot of cars everywhere.
I mean, again, it's the kind of thing that also happens in a lot of online races as well, and granted, these guys are, as you said, this is only the Copper class, so kind of some of them are a bit new to the game, some of them maybe not. I hope a lot of them will have online experience so they will know what to kind of necessarily do in that first lap, first corner.
Yep.
But, things can happen. A lot of things can happen.
Absolutely. Okay, we got 2 minutes to the race start here, so we'll just let the drivers. Well, what happens right now, of course, is the drivers would have just finished qualifying. They would have also done like an hour or two of practice. So maybe this is the chance when everyone disappears off for a quick toilet break, and then run back to the rig to jump on, to get on just before the race start.
I mean, it's just only like, what, a 2 minute interlude between qualifying to the race. So yeah, if you need to do anything, that's the only time you get to get those done. But I also got to say, I'm super impressed by how close the qualifying actually ended up becoming. A lot of guys were basically within a tenth or two of each other. So even though this is still just a copper class, I think there's still some legit good drivers in this category.
Yeah, absolutely. No. They've had some. We saw last couple of classes some very good drivers, and actually I think quite a few of them that got promoted to bronze for this global edition. So we'll see some of those drivers in bronze later, and that's what happens. I mean, it's not just about how fast you are; it's about what sort of experience you have. Once you can show you can race a bit, you go up a class. And sometimes we get some of the more experienced guys who haven't touched the sim in a couple of years, and they want to come back and they ask us, "Can we go down a class?" And that happens as well.
So, in any case, with Azib right now in the front row, together with, I think that's Adre, who's in second place. At least I'm seeing on the game right here. So,
ooh, and Badia Nick qualified third.
Yeah, I think he was also in the 218s, under 219.
Wow, great. That's Badia just started driving the last global edition. First race ever was in the global edition. So he's really inexperienced. So for him to get up to third, that's a good result. By the Iranian. He's actually Iranian.
I see. And we also got Zaire Adam, who also made a good attempt to get into the top 5 here. Looks like this race is about to start.
Let's get back to the race start.
Into the race now. Azib, of course, he is in the lead here. As well with Bardia, as well as Adre, as they get off the line now. So Bardia and Nick still trying to get up alongside here. Adre is still alongside with the leader Azib as they come into the first turn. I think Adre has to take on the inside there, a bit off the outside there, unfortunately, for Azib, but he is able to get on track. A bit of contact in the back there, but nevertheless, the front runners continue to roll on. 3 people now fighting for the lead here. Bardia and Nick able to get himself alongside Azib now as Adre continues to lead the 2 of them on this straight section. The chicane will be coming up soon. Who's going to be the first one into that turn?
Ooh, Badia on the inside. This is the first time he's been in the front. You know he's going to brake late. Is he going to brake too late? Yeah, he just about makes the chicane. Oh, wow, all the cars managed to get through.
No, not all of them, though. I think there's a bit of contact in the back there. I think Vidu might have just gotten a bit of contact. I think if Afiat is also a little bit out right now. Adrian Amina, though, he is still in the lead right now. Though we got Bardanik chasing alongside him now onto this next chicane.
Okay, Badia still in front. This is like fantastic driving by the Iranian, and he's holding on to the lead at the moment. Oh, he gets it sideways. I spoke too soon. Just getting a little bit too excited there.
Yeah.
And off he went.
Off he went, and that gives Bardia now the lead here in this race. We got Azib still close behind, but he's under attack now. I think this time by Azarif Adam Anwar Shazli, who qualified in 5th place. Now he's up to 4th, and now he's looking to get into 2 now, even after already holding onto the podium spot. Now breaking hard into this 3rd chicane. Now he cooked it! He cooked it into the entry of the chicane and spun around, losing a couple places, maybe even more now. He's down to 7 by the time he recovers on track. Oh,
such a shame. He was doing so good. Just a couple guys losing their composure a bit. Happens, I think, sometimes when they're just pushing a little bit too hard. Of course, it's the first time they're running at the front. But yeah, no, it's Adre Amit that spun earlier on, and it's Badia Nick who's still out in front.
Yeah, the young Iranian is now in the lead of the race here, just keeping Azib Shami Mokhtar behind, but they've yet to just finish this lap here as they are doing it now with Bardia leading the way. You can see him still holding on very tightly there. A bit of netcode there making it a little bit weird to observe these cars on the track, but nevertheless, Bardia comes and takes the line in 1st place.
Azib, they're really wide on the chicane, on the curb with the exit of the penultimate corner. Just survives that. But he's holding on for now. We even got a helicopter shot here. They're the front 2.
Yeah.
But they are way out in front. The guy in 3rd place is now Megat Ayman. And he's got some he's got someone right on his tail.
Yeah, that's Ryan Musin right now, who is going alongside, probably going to be taking the outside of this turn here. Might actually beat him to the chicane here if he keeps this up. Nevertheless, the breaking point is coming up, and Megan Ayman is along with Ryan Musin are now side by side. Is he going to make the move here, or is he going to be backing off? No, they will not back off. Side by side there, Ryan Musin cuts in front and takes a position from Megan Ayman.
Wow, nicely done, nicely done. He's holding on. Yeah, well, okay, side-by-side action. The move is not quite done yet.
No, not yet. Ryan Musin now still under attack from Megan Ayman, who actually cuts around the outside just like he did before the chicane. This is amazing stuff now as we come up to the next chicane here. Ryan Musin, he is going to be in the inside this time around. Megan Ayman cannot find the space to cut around the outside, so Ryan stays in P3, and Megan Ayman follows him, chooses the chicane in P4.
Oh, nicely done. Nicely done. Battling. I don't think this is the end of the battle, but this is going to go on for quite a bit, I reckon.
Indeed it will. I mean, there's still a lot of straights left in Hockenheimring here. I think only just about halfway through, isn't it, of this lap. So Ryan Musin still has to defend a little bit, but Megan Ayman is not as close as he was that time around, but he's still using whatever he could here to try to stay close to Ryan Musin through the rest of the sector.
And of course, the front two are just going away at the moment. And let's go a bit into the mid pack there.
So we got Doni Sadewa trying to fight against Joaquin, who just cooks it on the exit. The chicane collects him actually, but Donnie's able to roll on. But now he also got 15th place. Ardian Shah also coming up alongside. And Doni, I think he's got some damage. He's slowing down his car right now. He's lost a couple places here on the straight. Yeah, I think he might have actually, caught a track penalty, so he had to slow down in order to take that penalty there.
That's what happens in this game. If you go a bit too aggressive, you will get a cut track penalty, and you have to stop the car pretty much, and that's really a disaster, really.
Yeah, indeed, because let's look at that. It's already cost him, 3 places at least. Joaquin is still in 14, and Donnie's down to 17th now. So that one penalty has just lost him 3 places in a row there. Whoa, that's tough to accept, I think.
Nirosh Yeshan here in the CMSC car from Sri Lanka. Looks like he's got a bit of damage on that front bonnet. Is that damage? Looks like there's a bit of damage.
A bit of damage in grit as well, so perhaps it's really hard to tell visually what level of damage these cars have, but nevertheless, he definitely had some contact. There was not an error at all on the part of him going to the corner there. It's literally on Nirosh there, who have made the mistake going wide, so he just says, thank you very much, takes that position. Bardian Nick, 2nd place now as Azim Shami Mokhtar managed to overtake him just off camera.
Wow, so we just missed that, but wow, so let's see what happens here. They're all still pushing really hard, but yeah, Bardi and Nick, they're down, demoted from the lead, although he's still right on the tail of Azib right now, so still a lot can happen.
Still a lot could happen indeed, so him being 0.7 seconds behind means that he's still within range to try to fight back if he could just close that gap a bit, which seems to be a bit hard with Azib having still a lot of speed here, especially in these fast sections. Again, these are all the same car, so there shouldn't be much differential between them outside of the way they take the exits here. And it seems like Azib is doing a good job, as good as a job as Bardian Nick here, because that 0.7 gap still the same even until after that chicane.
Okay, Adrian Ahmed there trying to make back some progress after that spin out of the lead on the first lap. Trying to go. Oh, he's not going to try and go around the outside of this right-hander, is he?
Is he? Oh no, he actually beat him before the breaking point there, and neatly takes up 5th place there. 4th place. Well done. So let's see whether or not he'll be able to keep it though. By the time he gets to the next section here, Megan Ayman trying his level best to get a better line there, but Adre's car is still in the way. No way through. Adre's still 4th.
Wow, really good drive by the young 9-year-old, making some good progress there. Around the outside, just outbrake that car into the stadium section. Well done. And up to P4. Really good recovery drive. And you know what? P3 might be possible as well.
Might be possible even given the pace his hats, right? So Let's see what Duran is going to be able to do if a weakened Midgard are in front of him. Perhaps this might be the chance for Duran to make up the place as well. Flashing his lights right now and letting him know his intent. Midgard has to move aside right now as they both drag race their way to the chicane. Duran still trying his best to get alongside, but I think Midgard still has a nose and slightly ahead. Duran's already creeping up now as they go onto the right-hand sweeper here. Chicane coming up right now. Midgard still has inside. Duran, will he late break here? Yes, he will. Side by side, Midgard Ayman can really hold on there as Duran takes it from him through the chicane. Midgard trying to fight back now, takes a slipstream as we get on to the next long, fast section.
Yeah, good little battle going there. Good little battles all the way up and down the field, really. But yeah, Duran now on the outside for this next chicane. He's going to be difficult to go around the outside there. I think he's just going to focus on pulling back and trying to get a good exit. Oh no, he goes around the outside.
Whoa, that's really brave there, actually, of Duran to just go too wide through there. But Mega Ayman still was not able to capitalize on that, unfortunately, as Duran still takes up that 5th place now. Mega Ayman still behind. So, this is still going to be the story now going into this next chicane. Remember, this one's going to be a right-hander first, but then Duran is already ahead. Mega not really taking the dive, tucks in behind, stays behind him through the chicane. Oh, contact there. There's another car. Ryan Musin actually spun a little bit there and unfortunately collected Duran. Or is it Musin? No, I don't think it was him. I think it was Adre, actually. Adre was the one who spun out on that chicane and collected Duran in the process.
Wow, I'm really feeling from Duran because he'd done such a good job. And there was just nowhere for him to go and just collected Adre. He was in the middle of the track. Unfortunate for both drivers. Yeah. But they're still in the race.
Still in the race and still in the top 5, for at least for Duran. Yeah, top 6 here for Adre. And still 5 minutes to go, so still plenty of time here to at least collect some good results. Maybe a podium position might be a little bit a reach here for Duran, but nevertheless, he is ahead of Adre. So 5 minutes ago in this race right now, Azib Shami Mokhtar still leading this race right now ahead of Bardia Nick. He made a pass on him that unfortunately was not quite on camera there, but nevertheless the two of them have been absolutely at it. Unfortunately, Bardia Nick has already fallen back a bit, 6.5 seconds between himself and Azib Shami Mokhtar, thus having him such a solid lead now, 5 minutes to the end of this race. The closest competitor here I think is Ryan Musin, who appears to be in 3rd place on the board here. Yes, he is 3rd place, just behind Bardia Nick, 10 seconds behind though, so no way a big major threat to the two of them unless they come together. So that is the top 3 right now. We got Megat Ayman, who lost a position to Ryan Musin, was in a battle with Duran Abisekera until unfortunately Adrian Amit made a mistake in the chicane, collecting Duran and forcing him back down to 5th place.
Okay, Nirosh Yashan has done a good job as well. He's now up to, I think he's race high 8th position. Gosh, he's going to be looking at this guy's in the mirror going, please don't hit me.
He's already gotten quite a few battle scars already. It's like, doesn't want to add another one here, obviously. But we already got 9th place Adam Shafiq now hot on his heels here as he comes to the next chicane. You can see just jinking around, trying to find a gap. Does find one on the inside here. This could be critical here for Nirosh. Can't quite defend it. He breaks a little bit earlier compared to Adam Shafiq, but Adam has gone a little bit too wide. Comes back on the track, gets hit up, collects another guy behind, but Nirosh still comes through and stays in P9 somehow.
Yeah, some pretty bad net code at the moment. And wow, Yeshan survives that. And I tell you what, the damage on the front, I think, will be costing him some straight line speed. So he's desperately trying to hang on with only 3.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, he's just going to have to rely on just defending, really, to keep anyone behind him. Now, he's a little bit fortunate to be able to come through that, although I still saw a bit of contact with Adam's car earlier, so Lord knows what kind of damage he's sustained so far, but it's certainly affecting his performance here, especially in these straight lines. That's why he's been holding back that whole pack there earlier in the fast section.
Okay, yeah, so 8th position for the Sri Lankan. Let's see if he can hold on to that. We should also just remind ourselves there's a really good battle for 3rd position going on. Megat Ayman is getting really close to Ryan Mushin. Oh, in fact... Oh, Mushin spun off.
Oh no, spun off there. A bit of bad netcode as well, making it hard to judge, but I think his car still can roll on as he's still on the main straight right now, but Oh man, that's gonna hurt here for Ryan Musin because he really wasn't involved in many of the incidents that befell in our top 5 here so far. But now he's dropped out quite out of the top 5 here, behind Adrian Amit right now. Who else also got affected by that?
Well, I think Duran benefited from that. Adrian Ahmed then also went up a position from 6th to 5th. So you're looking at 4th, 5th, and 6th at the moment, with the first 2 way out in front.
So yeah, Ryan Musin rejoins the pack here, and he's 3 seconds behind Adrian here, so a bit more for him to catch up before he gets back into the top 5. But you got Wei Shen Wong just behind him by almost a single second. Adrian, in the meantime, seems to have caught up to Duran. This is going to be another battle that will unfold here in this final 2 minutes here. Also in the chase here, we got Rifki Afiat, who is currently half a second behind Javindu Samarakun. So there's potentially another chase position here in the top 10.
Wow, okay, so exciting stuff. Let's looking at the zoom, see what sort of zoom views you can get. And there we go. Afiat there. Loving the the wallpaper there is next to him.
I love the headband, actually. It's making him look like an absolute warrior behind the wheel.
Absolutely, a 70s fitness star.
Yeah. So Rifki Afiat is still trying to close in the gap with Govindo, but still annoyingly half a second behind through these fast sections. He can't really gain much from this distance here. Although touching the grass there is Govindo Samarkun. Is that going to affect him on the entry there? Rifki is going to be able to catch up for sure, but not enough to get alongside. And you still have Neuroshers in front there. Oh, but it looks like Govindo made a mistake, and Rifki inherits 9th place.
Good job for him, up to 9th. Let's see who's back in the front. The Durand is actually catching up to Megat Ayman there. There he is, Durand in the white car. I think he's also one of these Sri Lankan drivers, and one of a number of Sri Lankan drivers out here. And we saw how quick he was in practice. Did not have a good qualifying, but now he's up to P4, so showing some of his class right now.
Yeah, 30 seconds left before we're going to be calling the final lap of this race here. Durand still behind. About half a second, trying to gain. A little bit wide there.
Yeah.
Keeps it nice and tidy though in the exit. Still stays close enough to make Ayman's car. Again, you still have just behind him, I think that's, wait, is that Wei Shen Wong? Just behind him?
Yeah, I guess so. What happened to Adrian Ahmed? Adrian Ahmed's dropped right down.
Oh, no, there is Adrian Ahmed. A bit of error in the broadcast graphics, I think. Yeah, so it is Adrian Ahmed behind Duran, and that's behind Megat Ayman right now, who's currently holding to the last podium position here. And certainly, you know, now that the timer is already finished, this is make it or break it time for Megat.
Yep, leaders on the final lap. I want to watch this battle, but we'll have to go back to the leader as well, because he is on the final lap. But yeah, he's got the feeling that Duran thinks he can still get him. I think this, you know, he brakes so late, he just inches up nicely. It's all about the exit here. And Megat's not looking clean on the exit. Oh, Duran is looking close.
He's already peeking on the inside here. Is he going to be able to hook on? Yes, he is. Duran now going to have to just keep the pedal to the metal now. Nothing you could do about this because Duran already got a nose inside. Oh, a bit under touch of the grass as well. Megat forcing it a little bit off there and actually closes the door on him, in fact, going into the chicane.
That was a little bit naughty by Megat. Oh, and he's braked too late. Oh, Duran can still get him.
Here we go. He's going to catch him on the exit for sure now. Megat Ayman now trying to block it, but then Duran trying to find a way through, weaving around in the straight right now. Finally gets his way into the side of Megat Ayman, the same as he did before. Now he has it inside here. Megat, is he going to try to close the door again? Can he close the door? He cannot. Duran outbreaks him, going tree, and a bit of ping pong as well as Duran goes wide. Megat takes the position back now, and you got Ryan Musin as well trying to get into the mix, but Duran soldiers on, still stays behind Megat Ayman, coming to the final few corners now. Who's going to be 3rd place? We got Azim Chami Mokhtar already on the main straight now. He's certainly going to become the winner. Bardiane falls behind him by 6 seconds. Megat Ayman 20 seconds behind, still fighting with Duran, still trying his level best. He still stays ahead by the time he comes to the final turn. Megat Ayman takes the line there and should be the one who takes 3rd place.
Wow, was that the final lap? I'm not seeing a
checkered flag yet. No, I think, wait, is it already the checkered flag or not? Megat Ayman is stopped on the side of the road.
No, I think that's it. I think the race is over. Everyone is slowing down.
Okay.
It doesn't look like on our graphics, but I think definitely the race is over. Everyone is slowing down.
Yeah.
But in our game, it doesn't seem right now.
Yeah.
We've got to come back to the studio right now. We should actually look at this. So, great win there by Azeb Shaimi. Bardi and Nick, though, I was really impressed with him. You know, he's really so inexperienced. For him to get P2 is fantastic. And who was third? Megat Ayman. Congratulations on that last lap battle going all the way down the line. We're going to go for a quick ad break before we come back with race number 2. Hello and welcome back. This is eRacing GP Global Edition 14, round 1 of 4. We've just had Copper Class Race 1 done and dusted. What an exciting race. New winner.
Yeah.
Azeb Shaimi winning. Bardia Nick in second position. My name's Alex Young. With me here is Victor Katz. That was a pretty exciting race 1, wasn't it?
Actually, yeah. Like, surprised to see like a lot of really good battles here, especially what we saw with Duran earlier on. We also saw Adrian made quite a few mistakes actually in the race, didn't we?
Yeah, he's 9 years old, I guess. I think we can forgive him a few mistakes, but he actually has been doing Global Edition for a couple of years, so I know he'll be extremely frustrated with that because Adrian, he put it on pole. Did he put? No, you're second, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was second on the grid. And you just felt he had the pace to really finish in first, even win the race, to be honest. So he'll be disappointed with that.
Yeah, for sure. But nevertheless, he will still have another attempt here, although this time around, it's going to be reverse grid. So everyone who was in the front just now is going to be starting from the back here. So that means that currently in the front of the grid here, we got 2 Indonesian drivers. We got Rizkula Aldisia and we got Rifki Afiat. Both of them in the front row here. Both Indonesians and both looking to try to start this race nice and well.
Yep, and just watching the zoom, Rifki's just decided to leave the 55 seconds to go. He's actually stretching right now in the seat before he jumps back on. So he knows he's up for this, isn't he? I think he's like you said, he starts second on the grid or on pole. Second on the grid. Starts second on the grid. So he, that's the beauty about the reverse grid race. Now, of course, this is the Copper class. It's the least experience of the drivers. So we often see a bit of mayhem on the first lap, especially in the reverse grid.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about like the on average slower drivers who are in the front now. So the guys at the back then have to be very patient, especially going in that first turn, because it's like you're gonna have to follow the pace of the guys in front, unfortunately. Nevertheless, we're going to be waiting for the red light to go off here. So drivers again, it's Rizkula Aldisia who's in the front. Rifki Afia is right next to him. The lights are going on.
Let's see, race start. Rifki with a decent start there from second on the grid.
Yeah, we are off and away now to that first turn. Rifki's on the inside here. Rizgula has to stay on the outside, but it will be side by side in the exit though, so it looks like it will be battle going on to the end. A bit of contact, and another car has just gone off into the tire barrier there, but nevertheless, the front runners continue on. We got who else as well in the front row? Nirosh Yeshan is also in the running now, getting on the podium. He's battling with Racing Wrong just behind our two front runner Indonesians here as they go into that first chicane. Still by side here is Rifki and Rizgula. Rifki is in the car on the inside line here, whereas Rizgula is going to have to attack in on the outside. Rifki takes the line now, tries to edge away, takes the lead here, and stays in front of Rizgula, who is now having to defend against Wei Shen Wong.
Yes, the guy with the headband in the lead, really good. Our 70s yoga star. He pulls away in the front. I think we could, we could go to him for lessons. But he's super cool, super chilled. Great exit out of the first chicane. And he's got a bit of breathing space as he comes to the second chicane on the first lap.
Yeah, one whole second gap now. Rifki, that looked a little bit too close for comfort there, but Rifki certainly lost a bit of pace because of that. And Rizgula is now all over him now, going to this third chicane.
Yeah, the commentator's curse. Almost again. Jeez, we should watch what we're saying. And now look at that. He's got the guy in second place all over the back of him.
Yep, already trying to have a look around the outside here. Rizgula, no, cannot outbreak Rifki here, who takes the chicane first. Bit of a pile-up going on behind, as well as cars going a bit too wide, a little bit wide, as well as that green car, I think, has just gone a little bit sideways there. Rifki still in front of Rizgula though, and I think that's the most important thing that matters right now on this lap.
Yeah, he seems to drive better when there's someone really close to him. He really nailed that last chicane. When he had a little bit of a gap to the driver behind him, he seemed to just make a mistake. Oh, as I say that, he almost, no, that's just about good. As someone else goes off right there. But yeah, no, Rifki there looking good at the moment. The Indonesian doing a great job.
Well, great job. I think he's getting his tires nice and warmed up as well. I mean, a reason why you'll see some of these guys struggle in the first lap is that, the tires and the brakes have not warmed up enough, and then they try to lean on it and just find, hey, there's no grip.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, this is a simulator game. We're trying to replicate everything like in real life, and that includes code tires.
Yeah. So, Rifki in the lead now in the first lap. Rizgula Aldisia is currently behind him in second place. Aidre has made it up into third now, it seems. A good recovery there for him, and a good campaign at first lap for sure. Mega Aiman is just behind him in fourth place, and Euros Yeshan has made it up to fifth, just ahead of Duran Abe Shakira, who is currently in sixth place.
Okay, we're riding on board with Adrian Ahmed, the young Malaysian. And kind of interesting, really, just watching this. I just want to look at this car as he comes and brakes right now. See, the first two cars look pretty good, but again, we're seeing a little bit of netcode, and I think that we're getting a bit of netcode from only the Malaysian competitors, strangely enough. So maybe something's going on, because whenever we follow the Indonesian drivers, and of course, let's not forget everyone's racing from their homes, the Indonesian and Sri Lankan drivers, the cars look actually pretty good. There's no netcode. Only the Malaysians are struggling at the moment, so maybe one of the ISPs here in Malaysia is not as good as it normally is.
Connectivity issues, I mean, again, functionally for the drivers, they wouldn't feel much because simulation is usually done client side and server side, right?
Right.
So as far as like their handling is concerned, it's not going to affect them. The problem is actually seeing the relative position to the other opponents, because it's not just like on our side seeing the car going a bit like weird in its movements, but for them, everyone else is moving weird.
Right.
So how do you race in that kind of situation?
Yeah, that's a bit tricky. Like you mentioned in race one, I think if you see someone with a bit of netcode, you just got to try and stay away from them a bit, right? Give them a bit more space.
But then let's put the issue in the other foot now. You're the Malaysian driver who's having that issue. So no matter how close you get anyone, they're going to be moving wildly all across the screen.
Yeah, so yeah, I've seen quite a few races like this now, thanks to COVID, really. Going online racing a lot more. It is a really fine line to thread, and that's the beauty and perhaps the danger of online racing. The beauty is anyone can do it. The danger is sometimes we have netcode, and it can be a bit tricky for door-to-door racing.
Yeah, but nevertheless, these drivers will still do their best anyway, as Duran is now attempting his best to have a repeat of the battle he had with Megat last race around. Now this time, it's a battle for fifth place here with Megat still in front of him. So Duran now catches his toe on the main straight now, tries to have a look on the inside here, a very fast right-hand turn coming up now, but he cancels his plan before getting to that turn now, tucking behind Megat Aiman, and goes for the move again as soon as they finish the corner.
Nice exit out of turn 1, and he's already alongside there. Duran there looking really, really good, like he might be able to take the position. He's on the inside. You can see the little red arrow in the bottom left. That's showing him where his competitor is, and he's actually in front of him now. You can see by the rearview mirror. This is the scary thing, though. You got a feeling that Megat's not done. He's going to try and outbrake him into the chicane.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, wow. And he makes the corner.
He makes it just like that.
Great move. Good move by Megat.
Yeah, nice and clean as well. I mean, Duran was also obviously aware that Megat was just attacking him that side. A good turnaround, a counterattack, if you will, that Megat Ayman managed to pull on Duran there. So he stays in P5 for now. Duran still has to try again.
Okay, on board with Adrian Ahmed. He's in third position. He's looking very close to Astia right now. Good exit out of the third chicane. Second chicane, shall we say. And he's just looking to close the gap. Not quite close enough, I feel, at this point.
Yeah, maybe not. He might be able to get a bit of toe off of him, but certainly not enough to catch him at the breaking point, which is already coming up now. So breaking literally at the same time. He's still having a peek on the inside. He still goes for it anyway. Rezgula actually braked a little bit harder there, and Adre just took advantage of that and just slipped himself up into second place.
Well done, Adre. Good position by him. Good overtake by him. And let's just go back a bit because Durand has got back in front. Megat.
Yep, and that's before the final sequence of corners too. So this is a perfect position here for Durand to keep his P5. Megat Ayman is going to have to tuck in behind though because it's not close enough to catch him in this breaking point. So there you have it. Adrian Amit up to second, Durand Amit Sekera up to 5, just behind Nirosh Yeshan and Rizkula Aldisia, who's currently in 4th place and 3rd place respectively. Rifkit Afiat, our head bandit warrior, is still in the front.
We're gonna find a name for him. That's a really great look. I hope he carries it the whole season.
Yeah.
We should just follow him just so we can have another look at the headband, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, let's not forget, of course, he is the leader. We have to give him some love. The headband and the driver.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Come on. He was like pulling stretches before the race, like literally like a pro level athlete. This guy is seriously committed to his craft here.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to see. Great racing.
Oh, we got a bit of battle going on here. I think Doni Sadewa, is that him who spun out there? No, someone else spun out behind him, so he managed to inherit 8th place. Got Yuan Edo also coming through, and I think that's it's Kevin Samawajiwa, who was unfortunately spun around there and collected someone else as well. He's going to be coming back on track in the 11th place right now. I think we also got Xavier Koo chasing hard behind here. This is a midfield battle right now for P14 as Xavier Koo is trying to catch Yuan Gavin Gayong here to try to take away 14th place. Still alongside now as we get to the chicane. Side by side here, the breaking point is coming up. Xavier Koo seems to be very much on the outside. Yuan Gavin is able to take the racing line nice and tidily in front of Xavier, so no chance for him to take his position for now.
Holds on. Quite a few different custom liveries here at the back of the track. I love it when competitors make custom liveries. It looks great.
Yeah, it always makes you stand out a lot more from the crowd, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So Xavier Koo is like, even he's sporting like the Porsche colors.
That's
actually,
right, the works team.
Oh!
As he nudges someone there.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, it's cut across there. I hope he hasn't caught a bad track penalty there because there's a couple of cars just behind him waiting for another mistake like that to open up the door for them to get up to 13th place.
Yeah. This is where the action is, though. There's plenty of good racing here in the middle of the pack. It's always a good sign when you see good racing up and down the pack.
Yeah, Xavier Koo going in again. This around the outside again. Yuan Gavin, another guy trying to go 3 wide, but unfortunately gets all wrong into the entry of chicane, spins around and leaves the battle there. So 3 still in the running here for 13th place. Yuan Gavin still in front.
Wow, I was just leaning backwards and forwards there away from the screen. I thought there was going to be carnage at that corner. Yeah. Somehow they all survived.
Yeah. In the meantime, the just a little update, I suppose. Zip, who is our winner of the race number 1, still stuck in 20th place. In fact, he's still trying to get past Rone Pereira. Just barely get past there for 20th. But just in front of him, misses it just by an inch there. Stays in P20 though, P19, sorry, as they come around the corner.
It's like downtown KO traffic at the moment. But yeah, awesome racing here. But it's interesting to see Asip so far back. He's obviously not had a good reverse grid race, and that's the beauty about the reverse grid races. It's not just about going quick, it's about racecraft. You need to pick your moments, stay out of the carnage. Sometimes you can be unlucky, but really you've got to try and play the odds sometimes, to try and put yourself in a good position not to receive bad luck.
Yeah, Jörn Gavin right now has just caught up to Kevin Samarajiwa, who earlier, remember, saw him spun around. Or was that Samarajiwa trying to just get himself back up into 14th place there? Jörn Gavin, nevertheless, is still behind, still trying to get the place back, and still alongside. Looks like it might be a tree-wide situation. Look, it looks here between them, him, Zarif Adam, as well as Kevin Samarajiwa. They're going to be going in. Zarif, I think, is in that in the livery car. Jörn Gavin still around the inside there. Zarif unfortunately has to take around the outside and loses out position there to Jörn Gavin. So he moves down to 16th place. Kevin Samarajiwa in 14th.
Nice. Some of the other guys who were in the middle of the pack, expected a couple of the other drivers to do well. We've seen a couple of the drivers in the middle of the pack, like Rahul Dev, some of the others who we know were quick, but they've not had good races, so not been a great first round for them.
Yeah, indeed. And especially for Azib Shami Mokhtar, still stuck outside of the top 10 right now. And compared to that, to Adre, who is currently still in the running in the top in the podium position here. So a stark difference in performance between both of these drivers, who probably started more or less the same part of the grid, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Adre, the 9-year-old again. I mean, I guess it's a sign of his maturity. His racecraft is a lot better. We talked about race 1. He spun in the first lap when he was, I think, first or second, but he still recovered. Managed to get up to, I think, into the top 6. But he's showed some really good racecraft now that he's up into second position.
Donnie. Too hard in the curbs there.
Too hard. Yeah, that curbs does catch people out. But as he recovers there, let's go back to Adrian because we're talking about him. Yeah, second position, this is showing some maturity. If he can stay there, actually, it's 2.5, just under 3 minutes to go, 2 seconds behind Rifki. Do you think he can catch him for the lead? Maybe even snatch a win?
I mean, still 2 minutes away, and unfortunately, I don't really have a good measure of what his pace is in terms of lap times.
Yeah.
But as far as I can see, he's still matching Rifki, at least on the last lap there. So I think at the very least, he will still be able to keep this position. I don't think he'll be that much under threat from Rizkula Sidia. So we'll see how that goes, I suppose. But nevertheless, I think mentally for a racing driver to recover, from having a really bad first race, having spun around completely like that, completely off your own volition, not because of like a battle or incident, for him to come back like that and still be in the top 3 running, I think speaks a lot to how much more mature he is despite his age.
Absolutely. I mean, that really is good to see. I don't think he's closing down the gap enough. I don't think he's going to be able to get down to the win. It really does seem to have settled down a bit. Let's just go down to 9th position because it seems to be a bit of a battle here. Ooh, Adam Shafiq, who we've seen at the front of the Copper class before, up to P9. Ooh, but he's having a good battle. The car around him has just gone wide. Oh, how come he got away with that?
I don't know. Like, literally didn't take the chicane at all, did he? So yeah, now it's ahead of Adam Shafiq here. No doubt that Adam's going to try to fight back, but you got a blue car in front. I think that's of Yuan Endo, who is currently in front of them in 8th place. So Adam Shafiq now behind Ardian. He's going to try to take it inside, but Ardian still keeps himself just ahead in this chicane and blocks him on the exit. And Yuan Edo as well is not helping things, obviously, by still being in front. So neither of them are able to pull away.
Yeah, Adam didn't. He actually set himself up really well for that last chicane, but he didn't get the exit he should have got. I know he's overtaking the cars now, but this should have been a much easier overtake.
It should be, but look at Ardian. It's braking so late. Goes completely wide. Both him and Yuan Edo. Just like that, Adam Shafiq up into 8th place.
He must be like, thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate that. And look who's behind him, Rahul Dev. This is one of the cars that we thought would be up in the top 5 or 6.
Okay.
Oh, nice to see him in the points, score some points.
Yep. So that should be coming across the line now to confirm it. We still got 20 seconds left on the timer, so not quite a final lap yet. But Rahul Dev gets a good exit this time around, catches Adam Shafiq on the straight before we get to the braking into the first corner, and he's up into 8th place. Adam Shafiq still behind though, so it's not quite over yet. because this is now a long straight here. Going to the chicane, Rahul Dev still has a bit of a gap here to play around with, and Shafiq still in the chase.
Yeah, this is going to go on a bit, but Rahul Dev, if you can just settle down, he should be able to have the lap times to pull away. Coming down the first chicane, who can brake latest? Adam Shafiq is not close enough at the moment, and it should be quite clear cut.
Yep.
Yeah, just about getting the right exits here. And again, the Malaysian cars showing a bit of net code.
Oh boy.
Oof. Bad exit there by Adam, and Rahul Dev takes it away.
That might just cost him his opportunity, really, on this lap. And in fact, this is already the final lap. Rifki Afiyat now in the paces here to finish this one, and once he does, he will be declared the winner. Adre is still 1.8 seconds, so yeah, like you said, not likely he's going to be catching up, and he indeed has not caught up to the leader here. So it's going to be a comfortable second and first place here for both Adre and Rifki, respectively.
Yeah, Rifki there. Let's see him go all the way. Looks good. I think this will be his first win in eRacing GP.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, what a way to make an impression, isn't it?
He's sweating, guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he is. He's glistening, actually, in the camera. Absolutely. Full commitment from this guy. Well done. Well done here.
Rifki headband Afiyat. Coming in for the win.
Indeed he is. Round the final corner here for the copper class. Rifki Afiyat takes race number 2 ahead of Adre Ahmed, who takes second place here, 1.8 seconds behind. Rizkula Al-Sia takes third place, just behind Adre here. And then we've got Niraj Yeshan, who will be coming through to take 4th place. We got Duran Abiskera only able to eke out a 5th place finish here, but still a good result for him because he managed to get ahead of Megat Ayman this time in the race. So Megat takes 6th place. We got Chris Axel Aranzanso in 7th place here, and Rahul Dev takes 8th place as he comes around the final corner ahead of Adam Shafiq Mohammad Yamin, who takes 9th place. And in the blue car, Jan Edo rounds it up into the top 10 for the copper class.
Fantastic. Great racing, great verse grid. We have to talk to Rifki, though. Congratulations, man. Can you hear us? How was that race for you?
Sorry?
How was the race? Congratulations on the win.
Oh, yeah. sorry. Yeah, that was a tough one after an accident. After accident in the first race.
Yeah. But it was really good. You had such composure. It looked like it was really not easy, but you looked like you had it all under control.
Yeah, I try to keep up. Despite I did a mistake the last 2 laps, I think, on the race 2. But yeah, I managed to win. Happy for it.
Well, congratulations. It should be good for your championship. You're going to be back for round 2, I take it? Yeah,
I will come back for the rest for the next round.
Yeah, we love the headband, by the way. Maybe you should make a livery for your car with the headband.
Sweat.
Yeah.
Okay, great to see you. Congratulations, and we'll see you for round 2.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you. Wow, okay, that was good. Good copper class, some good racing there. Really enjoyed that. Okay, we got, that's copper class done and dusted. We got bronze class coming up at 9 o'clock in just over 5 minutes. So we're going to go for another quick ad break. And thanks to Cooler Master. And we'll see you guys in a while. Okay, we're back. And I just saw Victor Katz in the background running across. My name's Alex Young. And we have another legend on the commentary team here in Malaysia, Amo Haziq. How are you? Good to have you back, mate.
Yeah, it was a crazy race just now watching over the Copper guys, but expecting a bit cleaner racing in the GT3 with the GT3s in the bronze class. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a look at the track we're actually racing at right now, actually, because I would love to get your comments on this. We are at Hockenheim. It's the old track, lots of long straights, 6.8 kilometers.
Yeah, and then run through the forest all the way up from the Sud curve to the Nord curve. It's a thrill ride, but punctuated by a couple of chicanes, just slowing the momentum just a bit. Maybe too much for the Copper guys, as the crashes were a bit in abundance, shall we say. Yeah. But I think in the GT3 class, it might just be a bit more cadence compared to the Porsche GT4s.
Absolutely, but I'm considering the track. I think we are surprised there was not more accidents in Copper class. Let's talk about the classes right now. We've just had the Copper class, and let's look at the Global Edition 13, the previous season. The previous winners, since we're at the round 1 only of Global Edition 14. Actually, we see Raja Amaru Sharkat there. He won Copper class. He's actually been promoted up to bronze. We'll see him later in this racing. He's in the bronze class today. Kamzani Ramdani, he won bronze as well. He's been moved up to silver, so you'll see him drive later. Vladi Malik dominated silver last season, didn't he? And he'll be moved up to gold. And of course, Nakib Aslan, he'll be up in gold. You will get to watch him in gold later. He won his 4th global edition of the last season, so he'll be one to watch as well. One that's hard to beat. But for now, let's go back to the on-track action. You can see some of the guys are out there now, right now. Still got practice. These are the Copper boys, and you can see, there we are. We can see they are on the GT3 cars that you mentioned.
Yep, and it's a well-balanced class because the particular mods we chose this one, actually not much BOP needed because they're all quite balanced underneath. So we're expecting really close lap times here, probably close to GT1 lap times even, because these are the current spec GT3 cars. So at the moment, we're watching one of the favorites here, the Passionate Racing team, having 2 of their drivers. One of them is Dominic Poon, and we're expecting a lot of good things from this particular one, as well as Felix Young.
Yep, one of the lovely livery there as well. It's nice to see the customs liveries. I was just trying to see Iman Yaraiman, but he is not out on track right now. He's quickest in practice. 3rd quickest right now is the Hong Kong driver, Felix Young. Also in the similarly livered BMW.
Yeah, for Passionate Racing, you can see the team name on the side there. And behind him, we have what looks a bit I thought that was a Spanish flag. Might be a Sri Lankan flag. Driving the Ferrari. Yep, it is. It's Rashida Luthier. Apologies for the name. That's a very tough name for Sri Lankans. We got a few Sri Lankans the last couple of seasons, so we will probably get the names out in the end anyway.
Yeah, it's nice to see if Sri Lanka can go in and maybe win the country championship this year. Of course, seen Malaysia just edge out Indonesia in the previous edition, and of course NPR GP actually won the teams championship. So anyway, we're on the bronze class. It's actually probably my favorite class. We often see some really good racing here. We've seen some great racing over the seasons we've had so far. So look out for some hard racing, some good racing, but also sometimes see some big errors as well. So makes for some fun as well.
Yep, a couple of drivers we're looking out for as well, including a good mate to Season 6 champion in the Copper class, Imran Zaili. This is Arman Abdullah. I'm not sure if he's running a custom livery. He's coming across the line now behind one of the brand new GT3s coming for the season, the Ford Mustang. But that's a lovely car as well, not gonna lie. Can't wait to hear it out screaming in the forest. But Arman stays in 5th, a 10th behind Fawzul Alim. We're expecting a very close qualifying session, as we said before, but for the time being, probably everyone's keeping their powder dry.
Okay, anyway, the practice is over now. You can see the checkered flag across most of the drivers' names because they've crossed the finish line. And they're going to get ready. Qualifying is about to start. It's only a 5-minute qualifying session, so pretty much everyone will get 2 laps. And of course, there's a big traffic jam out the pit lane, so it's going to be very hard to try and find your spot. Fully subscribed field right now. What was that? 36 drivers, I think, on track. So yeah, it's going to be a packed race indeed. Oh, look at that. That's Raja Amaru Sharkat there. Raja, of course, is one of our drivers that we have to watch because he won the Copper class and he's been moved up to bronze. He's not allowed to run in Copper anymore. He's now a bronze driver.
Yep. And that's one of his teammates as well for the Pack eRacing team, finishing as high as third last season in the team's championship. So Pack are looking forward to challenging the likes of Stratos Motorsports and MPRGP and the like up there for this season, as well as you can see Amirul not having the best of runs right now, 208.07. He's a couple of tenths behind some of the other drivers behind, including in front of him, including Yongjan, his teammate. And of course, we have to pay attention to Raja Amirul Shaka after this. Yep. But the man of the hour right now, Iman Ryan in the Ford Mustang up in front.
Wow, it's great to see him in a Ford Mustang. I love that. I think he drove the Porsche last season, didn't he? So it'll be interesting to see how they do. And I tell you what, 206s, that's very quick for the GT cars. So I think, yeah, we've got some very good quality drivers here and some very fast drivers as well. So it's going to be hard to win. And a nice mixture of countries also in the top 10.
Yep. Let's see then. It's a Bruneian in front right now after practice with a Hong Konger right behind. In fact, a couple of Hong Kongers, both our teammates for the Passionate Racing team. Dominic Poon and Felix Young. Fauza Alim, Sri Lankan. Armando Delo, Malaysian, with his fellow countryman in 6th place, Raja Amirul Shakat. After that, Tehane Ranga, another Sri Lankan. Bradley Martins, nice to see him back here, the Singaporean. Yep. Savi Ratnayake, another Sri Lankan right there. So 3 Sri Lankans high up here in the bronze class. So that's one to watch out for. And a lot of national pride involved. And 10, Ferdi Ramadan. So one of the Java Sim boys from Indonesia right there as well. So plenty of nationalities involved and a lot of high stakes. So let's see then what the first qualifying session of the season for bronze has to offer.
Absolutely. Okay, so qualifying has started. We can go back to the on-track action. Who do you want to follow here for qualifying?
Let's see then. I think Iman Ryan will definitely be one of the guys to watch out for because he was the fastest guy in practice, but we can't seem to find him right now. We'll be cycling through the cameras where we can find him. No, he hasn't left yet. He's gonna wait until all the cars are out on track and maybe get a bit of clean air because I was overseeing just now how the Copper class, they were having troubles trying to find space even in qualifying.
Yeah, that's a good strategy actually. Either you try and get out first or you wait a bit. He's just going to make sure though, he wants to make sure he gets 2 laps done, you know, so he can't wait too long. Otherwise you only get 1 lap in qualifying.
Yeah, so, man. In fact, he's waited for a couple of drivers to come up in front of him. There's Nazir Azman. Good old Nazir. He's back in here again as well. We're actually following Arman Abdullah because he's one of the last few drivers to actually exit the pit lane and running with a custom livery by the looks of it. It's a Sarawakian livery, so nice touch there. It's to represent East Malaysia here. He's out on track, but behind him is the man we're watching out for. It's Iman Ryan. There he is. Red Bull colored Mustang. What a combo.
Since he's going to be quite a bit behind, why don't we go watch someone that's a bit further up? Let's go watch one of our regulars, Nazir Azman. I would love to see how he's doing. There he is, Nazir Azman. Let's watch him on a lap. Maybe we can go on board with him as he does a lap. Where is he? He's the first and second chicane, isn't he?
Yep, after the first chicane, he's coming up to the Oats curve. It literally means west curve, so it's coming up there to what used to be a fast right-hander, but then after Patrick Depaille's accident in 1980, a fatal testing accident, they had to add the chicanes, and this is the chicane in question. A very tricky braking point. It's quite blind in some cases, but if you get it right, you can literally just nail the inside of the chicane there and sling your way out of here on the way back into the stadium section, coming after this third chicane.
Yeah, I know. This is a third chicane. Actually, I'm just trying to remember driving this track. I'm not sure. I don't think this third chicane was like as it was when I drove here. It seems a bit different. Didn't this used to be a much faster corner in the 80s?
Yes, in fact, they probably changed it after MotoGP came here around the 90s. Right. I mean, late 80s because it was the West German Grand Prix. But they had to make it a bit tighter because the bikes were getting faster, as we know by that time, because 500cc's were very unrideable. And for Nazir, he was just negotiating that chicane. And that is also another choke point on the circuit, shall we say, because a couple of drivers came a cropper, including Buddy and Nick, who was running in front, or was it in second, right behind Azib before he actually dropped it, and he had to remain second afterwards. That's a very dangerous corner. And right here, after the Sachs curve, into the stadium section, the final corner here, this is a really, really tricky one. You do not want to run wide onto the curb but into the gravel trap. This is before the asphalt was laid off.
So Nazir doing a good job of leaving a nice big gap in front of him so he doesn't get caught up in traffic. Hopefully it's big enough. He's going to try and do 2 laps. Goes across the start-finish line. Comes in turn 1. Turn 1's a very fast corner. Have to be extremely precise here. Oh, goes in for a super late turn-in. Looks like the exit's decent. And now this long, massive straight to the first chicane. See, he looks quite nonplussed there. If you look at the zoom picture on the bottom right, looks like he could do with a bit of a shave. He's also one of our engineers in real life racing as well, so it's good to see him back in the sim. Oh, that's super late. Breaks off the 100-meter board. Gets the car stopped nicely. These GT3 cars do have ABS. Helps with the braking. Gets out of the first chicane nice and easy. Again, another long straight. Got enough time to have a cup of tea, really. And then you've got to pick your braking again. See the 300-meter board, 200-meter board. Now the 100-meter board, just after it hit the braking. You see there's a McLaren in front of him. Oh, that's going to cause traffic for Nazir. If not on this lap, on the next lap, that's a disaster for him. Sherman Seng is in front of him. Let's see if Sherman gets out of the way. Yes, he does. Thank you very much. What a gentleman. Nazir Azman would be very pleased with that. Wouldn't slow him down at all. Again, 200-meter board, 100-meter board, hit the brakes. That's super late. Use a lot of curve, yeah? You've got to use it. No, well, that's a bad exit. Ammo, it's going to cost him quite a bit of time there. Maybe half a second on the exit.
Yeah, that he was a bit gingerly, even though he braked quite late. So you might think he was carrying a bit more speed than he liked. But by looks of it, sector times wise, he is not doing too bad at all. Oh, and that might cost him though. Another Mustang, and not the one that he wants to be in front of his face.
Danny should have got out of the way there. What? You plonker. Sorry. Yes. What a... Yeah, just get out the way, mate. Maybe he just didn't see him, was thinking about getting some space.
And now he is actually going to pay the price for it because he is going to start his lap behind Nazir.
Yeah, well, Nazir will be pleased because at least this next lap will be nice and clear. But if Danny is on a quick lap, now Nazir might be slowing him down.
Yeah, that's...
Okay. Iman Rahman just crossed the line. Wow, look at that. Let's follow him, shall we? See the lovely Red Bull Mustang. He goes pole 6.2. Wow.
You can hear the sound of that Ford EcoBoost V8 engine rumbling through. It might be a V6 or it might be a V... It's a V8 because you can hear the difference between the sound of V8 and V6 tune. You can hear how meaty that is compared to some of the other cars that we're going to hear after this. But Ryan immediately finds a lot of trouble here. He's got a Singaporean, an Indonesian, and in front of him, and a Malaysian right in front of him as well. We're on board with Nazir Azman. Now he's got traffic here. Sherman, oh, he must be feeling a bit sick here. He has to give way to two drivers, and this time he is actually on a flyer.
Yeah, Sherman's like, no, I only got 2 laps here. I gotta try and get a lap, but he's gonna get. Oh, okay. Faster drivers got through, but that's gonna cost Sherman a chunk of time as well. But qualifying.
Now then, we're gonna wait to see if another driver can beat him, and we're looking at him right now, Dominic Poon in the Passionate Racing BMW. There's a car going onto the inside. That's good driving from, that looks like Marasri Suteja in the P21 there. But we're on board with him, right? We're on board with Dominic Poon right now. Can we get a faster time here? We know that Iman Ryan is held up a bit by a couple of drivers, so this is Dominic's opportunity to actually get a faster time. Raja Mirshaka crosses the line. It's a 26.8, so 3 times behind. He's going to be out of it. Bradley Martins, that's a good time from him as well to be up in 4th, 27 flat. But Dominic then coming through the Sachs curve for the final time in qualifying. Can he improve, Alex?
Wow. He's getting a bit of netcode there as he goes through the corner sideways. That's not how it's supposed to go. Bit tricky with the internet here this evening. But, you know, the stadium section has a lot of corners. If he can nail this last corner, I think he's going to get close. Yeah, hard to tell at this point. He's about to cross the line. We're about to see in a moment.
No improvement there. So maybe he might have stopped up his lap earlier than that. And unfortunately, he has to set up for P2. But where's Iman Ryan? Is he going to improve on his time? No, in fact, he dives into the pit lane. So makes a beeline for it. Cashes out at pole position, 3/10 ahead of Dominic Poon. We did say earlier that the cars are quite balanced, but it is a very driver-based thing. So GT3 cars, the main difference here is how the driver can perform the best to their equipment. And Iman Ryan has just proved that with a 206.2, nearly breaking into the 5s. What an amazing run.
Really, absolutely good. Dominic Poon there, 2nd position. Arman Abdullah in 3rd. Raja Amarul Shaukat in 4th. And Bradley Martins in 5th. Felix Young in 6th. Alonso Marcus in 7th. Freddie Ramadan in 8th, the Indonesian. Good job by that. Nazir Azman in 9th, so his 2nd lap was a good one. And Amarul Afik with the 208.0 rounds out the top 10.
So there we have it then.
Yeah. Okay, so qualifying's done and dusted. This is bronze class. Race number 1 is about to come up after this. bit of a countdown right now. Is it 2 minutes, 3 minutes? We got to wait before the start of race 1. Okay, so the GT3 cars obviously is going to be interesting to drive. What do you think is going to happen in race 1, Amo?
Well, I'm just gonna stick our collective next out and say that it's gonna be even more chaotic as copper, as we're gonna pay homage to our sponsors here because we got a big one right above our heads.
Absolutely, Cooler Master, official sponsor, official main partner for Global Edition 14. Great to have him on board. They are doing sims. Actually, if you ever come down to Axel Academy, the sim will be up and running very soon. Really nice, really sleek looking sim. Okay, so a couple more minutes to go. Countdown is 6 minutes. Now we get teleported to the grid, and we'll be going soon. Yep, 2 minutes countdown now to the race. So okay, so we got quite a few different cars. How many GT3 cars do we have on the field today?
6 of them. We have 6 different makes, and well, we're gonna go from the alphabet order. We have got BMW, Ford, Ferrari, McLaren, and then Mercedes and Porsche.
Right. Okay.
So that's the 6 manufacturers that we have then, and I believe that was in alphabetical order, so we got that around somehow.
Okay, I'm impressed.
Yeah, but we're looking at one of the big ones right now. It is a brand new GT3 for this season. In fact, it's going to race in Le Mans as well.
Yeah, it's so beefy, isn't it? It looks great, actually, I have to say. Yeah, so 6 manufacturers. BOP obviously is done, so and I think we can see that it's been very even because we've seen a lot of drivers in different cars. We know the BOP is normally not great when you see everyone in the same car, but that's not what we're seeing today. It's all quite evenly spread out right now, and yeah.
Yep. Case in point here, top 3: a Ford. We have beside there is a BMW and a Mercedes behind here with Raja Mir riding a McLaren. So 5 different manufacturers in the top 5. So that is a pretty good spread of cars here that we are seeing here. So we're just looking at Bradley Martin's view. There's a Porsche behind there of Nazir Azman from his onboard camera. Look at that. Different manufacturers up in front. You'll love to see it.
Yeah, that's right. Cooler Master McLaren there on the right-hand side in P3. Make it yours. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting race. Okay, 23 seconds to the start of the race. We are on the countdown officially. Drivers will be getting ready. No need a warm-up lap on sim racing. Just go straight into the race itself.
Yep, then. So I think we're going to have a good grandstand view. We'll look at Nazir Azman's onboard. Let's see how he's like at the start here as the lights come on the gantry. And when they go out, race number 1 for bronze of Season 14 of Global Edition will be underway. And it looks like he actually got off to a very poor start. So that's unfortunate that our camera weighed a few more kilos than he expected. But away we go then, coming up to turn 1. We have a few cars in the barriers already coming out of the start-finish line up into the first corner, the Nord curve. And it looks as though quite a few drivers have actually come a cropper. But up in front, Ahmad Abdullah got the start that he really wanted. He made the whole shot.
Wow, look at that. He's already got some daylight between him and the car in second position. Great start by him. Up to P1. Iman Raymond with a very bad start from goes from pole to P5. And he's right in that gaggle of cars there. Oh, that's going to be tricky indeed.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the car that we're focusing there. That was actually the camera cars. Oh, Iman Ryan goes off. So did Malik Fakrul and a couple of other drivers coming a cropper behind there in the first chicane. So we did expect that to happen actually because of how tricky it is. And Nazir Azman as well was one of the victims in that particular skirmish. As more and more cars go through into the barriers there. Oh, that is disaster already on the first lap.
Yeah, a couple of McLarens coming together as well. So another car goes up. Let's look at the battle for second position, though, because that looks really tight indeed. Bradley Martins up to P2. Dominic Pun all over the back of him, though, and you got to see that. They're going to be side by side into the third chicane.
Yep, we're going to be on board with Dominic Pun then. Let's see how it looks like in his onboard camera. Coming up now to the third chicane on the outside. That's going to be very brave. Does he make it stick? No, there's a bit of a touch there, and Bradley holds on to P2 just for the time being.
Okay, and then behind them got Raja Amarul there in P6. Oh, it looks like it says Iman Rahman's there, but I don't think so. I think he's disappeared.
No, Iman Ryan's there. Iman Ryan is still there. He's in P7.
Okay.
But we're looking at the battle for P2 in essence because it comes from Bradley Martins all the way to Raja Amir Shalkat. And it looks as though the two passionate cars are sandwiched in between the Ferrari and McLaren Armada right in front of them. But for the time being, at least, Young and Dominic Pun are still staying in second and third.
Okay, good job there. Most of the front runners got through there, even though Iman has dropped down a bit. He's still in the back of this Gagov car, so he could still recover conceivably to get to the front.
And in fact, here he is. Yep. Swinging to the left and the right, and then back to the left here to go around the outside. But unfortunately, Amir Rafi holds the inside line and almost comes to a dead stop there by the looks of it. But it might have been netcode that causes that. But now we get to see how the grunt of the Mustang against the might of the McLaren here with aerodynamics on its side, coming side by side onto the first chicane. Who's going to blink first here as they come up now to the braking point? Let's see then. Imarayan on the outside, Amir Rafi on the inside. And it looks as though they're both actually going to tough it out here. And it's going to be still side by side somehow, but Amir Rafi just comes through ahead.
The Mustang has much better exits out of these corners. But the McLaren is very wide, and just literally it's almost like Iman has to get off the throttle on the exits there. Otherwise he's going to hit the McLaren off. But he's now out in front. He's still on the outside though. But if he can just hang around the outside through the right-hander, he'll be on the inside for the left-hander.
Oh, they touched there for a second. I thought that they were going to have a major accident, but Amir Rafi held his car quite well. But that brought in a different player right behind him, Nuwan Harshana, the Sri Lankan, into play. So he's in P8. That's a good start for him in his debut in ERGP as well. But Iman Ryan is a man on the mission. He's back up to where he feels he belongs, close to the top 5. But his sights on the podium is not that far away because Dominic Poon has actually overtaken Bradley Martins, but that battling has caused them to be closer to Iman Ryan than they are to Arman Abdullah.
Indeed. Okay, there's a good battle here. Bradley Martins, Felix Young all over the back of them. Can't really overtake into this right-hander unless you're fully alongside. Okay, now then the stadium section. It's hard to again overtake for this left-hander. But yeah, Bradley Martins holding on to P3 right now. Good first couple laps by the Ferrari driver.
Indeed, and that's an interesting onboard camera right there. It's like above the driver's shoulder. But you can see how much they have to work on the wheel. Despite these cars being quite aerodynamically efficient, you can still have a bit of opposite lock moments if you were to be a bit too overgreedy with the throttle.
Two teammates in a teammate sandwich. Let's see if Felix Young can get a good exit out of the turn 1. It does look like he's got a good exit out of turn 1. Let's see the onboard camera from him as he comes. Gets in the slipstream. This will help him. And look, he's just closing ever closer to the back of the Ferrari. Ferrari covering the inside. Will he go to the outside? Yes, he does. And they're going to be side by side as they come to the first chicane.
And that slipstream is working out for Felix here as he stays around the outside. We saw the previous lap how Amir Rafi was actually fighting for position there and with Iman Ryan. And this time, Felix Young does make the outside move stick. But Bradley is fighting back here. He's on the outside this time and in a much tighter position coming out to the Oats curve. If he were to make it around the outside there, that'll be a brave man to do so. He's already ahead on our timing screens. Around the outside he goes, coming up to the second chicane. Will he be able to make it? Yes, he does. And, oh, Felix actually cuts the chicane, and that might incur a Stewart's wrath there because Bradley saw full well how much he cut through there.
Wow, yeah, netcode is pretty bad there, so hard to tell for sure. But I'm sure they'll be sending us the onboard videos later if there's a protest to be made. But Bradley Martins, he's not out of it though, down to P5, but he can still recover that.
Yeah, but at the expense of the fact that the more that he battled with Felix Young, the more that Iman Ryan was actually coming back into play here. So he is actually closing out to the top 5 if he doesn't do more of that. Catching the curve on the inside. We saw a few drivers coming in copper when they took too much of the curve there. So Iman Ryan will know full well he should not be doing that. And speaking of taking notes, a lot of people have been watching the videos that Imran Zahaili has made because they're using the outside line coming into the drag strip.
Absolutely. Imran Ryan there, he'll be loving all this battling ahead of him because it's allowing him to get back up into the top 5. And, you know, his pace has been really good. The lap time's been super strong in this Mustang. Yeah, 8 minutes to go. Still, I think he can probably make a couple more positions.
Yep, and we'll now be looking for any other battles outside of the front-running positions. We got Muhammad Bintang there fighting with Yongjan by the looks of it. Yep, Yongjan in the McLaren, third of the Paki Racing drivers, with Muhammad Bintang in the Mustang as well. So quite a few drivers have chosen the Mustang because of how, well, it's a brand new car and it does have a very nice soundtrack to it. But at the moment, at least, he's about a second behind coming through the stadium section onto the start-finish straight. It looks as though, well, we thought it was going to be a close battle. In fact, further behind it, there looks to be. Yep, there it is. There's a gaggle of cars coming through our shot. 2 Ferraris, a Porsche, and another Mustang with Danny Effendi there. We saw one of the culprits in qualifying who did not go out of the way in time. And this time he's also behind another Porsche. So looks like he can't escape the Porsches today.
Nicely done, nicely done. Some of the, I do like the review of the Porsche Mustang as well. Nice cooler master down there. Okay, coming down to the first chicane again. It's a good shot, isn't it?
And that sound hits the V8. Coming out to the first chicane. Oh, there might be a touch between the 2 Sri Lankans. And it is. Oh, and he doesn't have anywhere to go, does he? And through goes one of a very opportunistic driver, Ahmed Jusmin. But unfortunately, he had to slow there because the penalty came on immediately. Oh, for the behind that. Oh.
How did they stay out of the wall there? I thought for sure both of those cars were going to be in the barrier. But most of these cars facing forward at the moment.
Yep. Well, we're looking at the battles further behind. Up in front, though, there might be another battle brewing because Dominic Poon has come up to the back of Arman Abdullah. There's his game on here with about 7 minutes left in the first race of the season for bronze in round 1. It looks as though it is a grandstand finish as we come through the grandstand section.
Dominic Poon there, wow, he's really put some fast laps in to close that gap. Really, really good performance.
Yeah, it's a bit wonky with the camera there, but yeah, really good performance because he didn't have the best of qualifying, best of starts actually. When he was off the line, he got bogged a bit. Now he is fighting back for the win, but let's see how Arman is going to be in his defense for the win because for sure he would love to get his first ever win in ERGP and he has to do it the hard way this time.
Well, yep, still getting, still a long time to go, right? And this is the beauty about Hockenheim that I really like, Ammo, is that you can overtake here. These long straights, good slipstream opportunities. And at this point, what do you think Dominic's thinking? Do you think he just ease on up to him? Or do you think he's thinking he's going to run out of time to get the move done?
Maybe he will just be thinking about not stuffing it, especially given the fact that he is so tantalizingly close to a win. He'll probably just be thinking, yeah, win's on, but if he was a championship thinking guy, he'll be loving to just be on the podium. But again, we're not in his head. He might just be thinking otherwise.
Just edging out a bit closer. Not quite close enough. We'll come back to that battle in a second because I think we're having a good battle there between Bradley and
Iman Ryan.
Yeah, Iman Ryan. Look, he's flashing his headlights.
No, actually, that's he is shining his headlights there. I thought for a second also it would have been the shine of the livery of the car because it is quite bright there. He put the livery. There it is. You can see the lights coming on right now. Bradley then has been a fighter throughout this entire race, but I think his resilience might not be rewarded with a better result that he would have wanted because he made a mistake there coming out of the third chicane, and there goes Iman Ryan up to P5. So Iman then good recovery back up to P5 to the top 5, but he might have left it too late here if he wanted to go for a charge for the win. So that's that particular battle ending. Now we have a Filipino and an Indonesian fighting with Alfico Ascar and Alonso Marcos Lacambra. I nearly said Marcos Alonso because of a footballer's name, of course, former Chelsea player. Alonso Marcos Lacambra then on the outside, Alfico's on the inside. Will one of them yield? No. Both of them are still fighting at it, coming through the stadium section into the Sachs curve. They're about 3 seconds behind Mika Zariz Iqbal. So Mika Iqbal somehow will be on pole position for the second race, and this will be a really good story for the neurodivergent kid. He has been showing a lot of promise in previous seasons, but hasn't had the results. Now he'll be able to start on pole for the second one. If he can hold it together here. The more that these two battle, and there goes Alfico Ascar into the barrier, so that will let Alonso Marcos Lacambra through to take. Oh, in fact, is that Alfico Ascar that hit? No, actually that might have been another driver behind, but what if it is? Oh, it is Ascar. So Alfico Ascar then out of the points now even because there's the rest of the field streaming through. That is also a gut punch in the stomach.
Ah, such a shame.
Now then, up in front, the battle is heating up between Arman Abdullah and Dominic Poon. Dominic is into the lead of the race and block passes Arman Abdullah. He'll have to back it up because the chicane he cut through there has a penalty attached to it, and he will now have to regain the speed up back through the final sector here. But there goes Dominic Pun, and there goes Felix Young. It's a passionate racing 1-2.
Wow, nicely done. So, teammates at the first and second. Actually, the top 5 are getting a lot closer. Even Ryan also in P5 is also getting a lot closer.
In fact, there is Iman Ryan now in the Ford Mustang. And he is sporting livery a couple of years early because, of course, Red Bull and Ford are coming together for 2026. So that's a nice little touch there that he's getting. A future livery now coming up to the stadium section here behind Raja Miroshaka. So Raja Miroshaka then, he'll be fancying his chances of a podium after Arman Abdullah's resilience was finally broken towards the later stages of this race. But we still have 2 minutes left to go here. So this might be coming up then the final lap of this first race if when Dominic Pun crosses the line. Let's see then, through the final corner, 2 laps to go, Alex.
2 laps to go. And to tell you what, it's looking really good for Dominic Pun right now. He's showed good pace, good overtake, and he's putting out a bit of a gap now. And actually, Felix Young and Dominic Pun are quite experienced drivers, so I think it's going to be really hard to see them losing the top 2. Oh, but Iman Ryan there with a great exit through turn 1. That should allow him to make the overtake quite easily there on Raja Amiral.
Yep, on board with him now. There goes Raja Amiral with a really poor exit coming out of turn 1. Onto the first chicane, and there we go. Oh, they're still side by side though. He actually thought the move was done, but Iman Ryan actually has to still keep fighting with Raja Miroshaka. We know how Raja Amiral is quite a feisty driver when it comes to the punch. And there he goes, back onto the inside, retakes 4th place. Oh, the touch. That might have been a bit of a block pass there, I would say, Alex.
It's funny, we saw this earlier on with another Mustang in McLaren. I think it was Iman Ryan trying to overtake one of the other McLarens. And
yeah, it was
Amirafi. Or was one of the Ferraris, actually. Couldn't get the exits. And now, disaster for Ryan because he's dropped another position. He goes side by side with the Ferrari. Tries to take back the position. Oh, they're both going wide. Side by side. Whoa. Iman Ryan, they're getting bullied, really. He should have been 2 places up in P4, but instead he's now in P6.
That is a disastrous couple of corners here. In fact, in essence, it was just a couple of corners because it was only 2 chicanes. So Iman Ryan then back to square 1, trying to get back up to the top 5. He will probably be settling for at least a top 5 finish if he could overtake Iman Ryan. He could overtake Bradley Martins again. But wow, he had the pace. Just unfortunately, he didn't have the best of luck here in this first round, but he'll be starting higher up in the second race, so maybe that's a small consolation there for the second race. As now, for the time being, there goes Bradley off into the gravel. Oh, Bradley made a big mistake there coming into the stadium section. Where is he now? There he is in the gravel, into the grass. That might allow Amirafi to get back, but a bit too gutsy there coming into the trail braking zone in the circuit and might have actually overcooked it.
Oof. Lots of drama here late in the race. This is the final lap, of course. We go back to... We just started the final lap? Or final
lap? We have. And it's Dominic Pun still ahead of Felix Young and Arman Abdullah not that far behind with a back marker potentially coming to play spoiler here. The 2 teammates then. I don't know if there's Team Motors. Oh, Team Motors, isn't it? By the looks of it, we'll have to go on board to see if that's the case, if he's backing off. Oh, no, in fact, the race is over.
I think the race is over. Just like we saw in Copper Class, it doesn't actually finish the race. Race is over. Dominic Pun with the win. Felix Young in second. Arman Abdullah 4th. And Raja Amiral in 5th. Bradley Martins rounds up the top 5.
And look at that, across the line. Mikael Iqbal in 10th. He'll be starting on pole for race number 2. Awesome. Oh, that's, would you believe it? It does go back to the time when he had his first ever race weekend. And it was at Sonoma when we were still in race room. He had his first ever win. What a way to do so in a debut. Now, a few seasons in, he's already a grizzled veteran. He'll be happy to do the same here again. But Dominic Pun then, your race winner, and look at that, the 2 passionate racing cars going in formation.
Okay, great. We got a bit of time. Race 1 for bronze is done. Race 2, the reverse grid race is just coming up right after this. We're going to be right back after this break.
Welcome back then to Global Edition Season 14. This is the bronze class, race number 2 here at the Hockenheimring. Welcome back then. This is Ammo alongside me is Victor Cax.
Hey, Ammo. Glad to be alongside you yet again. I was like watching you guys actually in the first race. Apologies for getting on the camera just because before you guys went live. It's great. A lovely first race just now. Quite a bit of drama as well as Imran, even though he managed to qualify first, dropped that a little bit in the first lap, but managed to get a good recovery. Not enough to get himself back on the podium, but nevertheless, with this reverse grid happening right now, he's going to have to do it again, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, he doesn't have that much work to do compared to the other drivers who finished right in front because he's starting P6.
Right.
The likes of Rajamri Shakat, Amar Abdullah, Felix Young, and Dominic Poon are right behind him, so at least he's halfway there. But he has the other half to go with an equally feisty Bradley Martins, who really fought throughout the entire race, but unfortunately, a couple of mistakes set him back there. So, again, just like Iman Ryan, a case on what might have been, but they have at least 4 drivers in front to deal with. And right up in front in that particular instance is Mikael Iqbal, who we mentioned before. Well, we gotta mention again, the racing savant.
I know, right? It's going to be interesting to see how he's going to race from the pole position now, from this position here. Nevertheless, you know, the people to watch out is for sure going to be Dominic Fu, the winner of that previous race, and Felix Young. They've shown themselves to be quite the faster drivers overall in the last race. Can they do the same thing in race number 2, though, starting from 9th and 10th respectively?
Indeed, and we're probably going to stay on board with Dominic Poon because that is the guy to watch out for. He was the man who really hounded for the win and got it at the point where you kind of missed him a bit, but we saw the end of the overtake against Arman Abdullah, the man who he overtook, who's riding in P8. So, 25 seconds left to go here. Victor, why don't you take us away for the start?
Indeed, I will. So, it's going to be race number 2 here. Again, another 15 minutes for these drivers to contend with here on Hockenheim. The 2001 layout, if I'm not mistaken.
From 94.
From 94. Oh, yeah. It's from 94 to 2001. So, nevertheless, the red lights, they go on. 6 of them in total as the drivers rev up those engines. And we are off. Mikael Iqbal in the Ferrari, still ahead of that BMW next to him. That's Nuwan Harshana, and a bit of contact in the back as well. Who is that? It looks like a McLaren is in the mix there. As the Ferrari has to give way to the BMW, goes onto the gravel, and the BMW of Nuwan goes first.
Oh, that's a bit of a cheeky one there because you can tell that sometimes you will get away with a bit of track limit, so you want to use a bit more of what you can chew coming to turn number 1, but the one might have actually stretched the limit there. But whatever it is, he's up in front. We've met Iman Ryan in second, right beside there with Amir Rafi coming up to the first chicane. Mikael Iqbal will probably not let that die because he's in P4. Coming up there for the first time. No, Amir Rafi, does he lock up? No, he might have actually overcut it a bit there. And a couple of drivers in the background, including Nazir Asman. That's the second time he's actually appeared on screen going the wrong way around, and he has left the race.
That's like the worst kind of stat to have, I think. But nevertheless, Nuwan Harshan is still in the lead. Mikael Iqbal, I think he may have, you know, just overcooked it, rather outbraked himself going to the chicane, so therefore overshot it quite a bit. But now he's at least still able to stay in front of Amirul Afik, who right now is all over him just behind. Alonso Marcus is also following here. He's being chased hard by Imran Rania, who's already alongside him now. The Ford Mustang now contending against this Ferrari here. Side by side they are now as they come into the third chicane.
Yep, into that third chicane then. Around the inside goes Iman Ryan. There's Rasita around the outside. Oh, bogged a bit there. And another Ferrari goes into the grass. That's Bradley Martins. It's all kicking off there. It's only just the first lap.
I know, right? We haven't even finished this lap yet, and already so many drivers just having so much drama. But nevertheless, Iman Raya now in 4th place, chasing Amir Afik in that McLaren right now into the stadium section. He seems to have a lot more speed here, actually. Driving by the exit, a bit of contact as well onto the McLaren as he edges his way into the inside. A contact in the back as well as the Frosche of Alonso tries to get through as well. Unfortunately, has to jink around a little bit, a bit of touchy go. Actually through those corners, but Imran Ryan nevertheless is all over Mikael Iqbal now.
Yeah, I'm trying to find who was that Porsche further behind, but unfortunately we've lost the field for that one as we're looking at Imran Ryan battling. There's Bradley Martins on the inside. Well, can't even pay attention to which battle to look out for here because there's a couple of other drivers further behind. There's Bradley going on the inside of Amir Rafi. And Amir Rafi goes into the barriers. Back onto the circuit he goes. And that's probably the end of his race.
That's it. He's lost so many positions now. He's way past 13th place here. He's not going to be able to get back up to the podium. No way. With only 12 minutes left in this race here. Iman Ryan, though, still in the fight. He's going to try to fight up alongside Mikhail Iqbal. Already takes a position before getting chicane. Iman Ryan up into second place.
That's a tactical maneuver there. And I think Mikhail didn't put too much of a fight because he just wants to let the faster guy through and not cause too much of a problem. But to his detriment, he let the guy through a bit too much. Now he has to deal with the likes of Alonso Marcos Lacambra and Bradley Martins for the behind coming at him. And speaking of which, there's Bradley Martins, who was involved with that little incident with Amir Rafi. He's right at the back of Lacambra.
Yeah, but again, it was Alonso who took the position from him and in fact forced him out in the grass. So if anything, I think there's going to be red in his eyes right now as we continue on this lap here. He wants to take the position back from that Porsche just in front of him, and perhaps even bring the fight to Mikhail Iqbal, who's also running the same machinery as he is. Braking hard now. Alonso had a peek on the inside. Mikhail cannot find a way through. Bradley Martin still up on the tail of the Porsche, giving the pressure going as the Porsche goes around the outside, trying to see if he can peek past Mikhail, who closes the door on him straight away. Now Alonso almost onto the grass there, tries to get alongside here through this braking part here near the drag strip. They will be going 3 wide here with Alonso on the rightmost side of this bench. Oh, Mikhail getting sandwiched in between there. Bradley Martin's able to keep his car under control, sliding his way through, and he's still in P4, just behind Alonso Marcos.
Look at that, it was a pincer move there from Alonso Marcos Lacambra and Bradley Martins. Mikhail had nowhere to go. He just had to dive on the brakes. And mercifully, though, Bradley somehow manages to control it. Full opposite lock to keep it going in the right direction afterwards. But the biggest loser out of all of that is Mikhail Iqbal. Look at that, he's sinking like a stone right now. He's being overtaken by drivers left, right, and center. And he's now on the inside this time. But will he be able to make it through turn number 1?
Not quite.
Oh, that's very close. That's very good driving. Very, very good driving from everyone involved. But unfortunately for Mikhail, that's another position loss.
Yep, it's going to be another position loss. I think it's Felix Young who has already overtaken him. Yes, he is. Rashida Al-Luthga is also taken past. Now Felix Young is going up against Bradley Martins. They're going to be side by side now for this battle for P4. Getting into the chicane here. Rashida as well, trying to hold his own here, but Felix Young has the racing line. He goes up in front of Rashida and does get himself up into P5.
Yep, and we see Bradley Martins fighting with Alonso Marcos Lacambra. There's the Ferrari on the rear bumper of the Porsche. Coming up to the second chicane here, the Yachts curve. There's Bradley going around the outside. Will he be able to make it? No!
Squeezing hard there. Alonso didn't give much room for Bradley Martin to move, and they both managed to get through the chicane regardless, though. But Alonso, that's a very touchy kind of like defense he's done there, really forcing Bradley Martin's to the point of no room left on the outside.
And speaking of no room left, this is closing in between Mikhail Iqbal, Dominic Poon, and Amar Abdullah. Coming up to the third chicane. Dominic Poon really aggressive there in his attack, and he has every right to do so. He can do it because he is not the driver defending. If you were to do that in your defense, then you're gonna get a steward's warning. But he still remains in P8 behind Mikhail Iqbal and in front of Aman Abdullah. He's watching brief here.
Yeah, desperately trying to find a way through. He is already alongside Mikhail, but around the outside, this next corner here, the braking is going to be of utmost importance as Dominic Food gets through, but not Arman Abdullah taking onto the gravel with his Mercedes-Benz AMG. Almost collects a couple of cars on his way in, but is back down, but lost a couple of positions. Now he's down to 11th.
Yeah, you did say just now, breaking of the utmost importance, he basically jinxed Aman Abdullah there. He went straight off into the gravel and loses sight of the top 10 even, because now he's behind a couple of teammates here between Ngo Yongjan and Unknown, as apparently we want to call him.
Unknown.
Yeah, that's what he wants to be referred to, so we'll keep it at that. Those who know the Discord, you know who this guy is. But he is in P8 right now, in front of Ngo Yongjan and Arman Abdullah, who somehow manages to still be in the top 10 despite his early woes.
I mean, just a slight aside here. Unknown is spelled incorrectly too, so
Yes.
that just further adds to the mystery really of who this guy is. Nevertheless, Tihan Iranga now catching Arman Abdullah, who remember went off the gravel just now and no doubt has lost quite a bit of time. He's going to be losing possibly a position here and to both go alongside, but the AMG still stays ahead of the McLaren. Esther and Iranga not able to take the position away from Armand.
And that's for the last points paying position, because remember, top 10 is the points that is awarded to in race number 2. And amazingly, up in front, Nuwan Harshana has actually left the race. So Iman Ryan is now in P1 as we look at the battle between drivers in P9, 10, and 11. Ngo Yeon-jan goes on the inside and takes it. Now he has to lift it off. Armand Abdullah is off again.
Unknown moves up into 8th place just in front of Ngo Yeon-jan. Arman Abdullah now lost position and in fact is trying to catch back, but it's too big a gap now, 2 seconds all the way up until he gets to Ngo Yeon-jan, so it's too far away. Ngo Yeon-jan right now having his position taken away by Unknown as well. Bit of contact and Theron
no!
to Ngo Yeon-jan. Bit of collection as well, contact as well. It's still on the chicane there. It's Ngo Yeon-jan as he tries to desperately get his car turned around and back on track.
And you know what's unfortunate? Jason was actually going off there. Yeah, I reveal his name, by the way. Going off, gets hit by Taehan Iranga, who in turn turns into Yeon-jan. That's really unfortunate for Yeon-jan. We see him as P10 right now, but he is no doubt outside of there. There we go. Position finally sorts itself out. P15.
Yeah, I mean, that's action reaction in a nutshell, isn't it? This one after another, almost like a Newton's cradle between those 3 drivers. Nevertheless, 3 drivers still in the battle here. 2 BMWs, in fact, just mashing into each other through the stadium section here. Who is that just behind us? Reddy Ramadan and Raja Amil Shaukat, who are battling right now to be the supreme BMW in 12th place. And it seems like it's Raja Amiro who's able to get... Oh, wait, no, Ferdy, who is already ahead now.
Yeah, it's Ferdy versus Nizariski Ramadan. I think these two are teammates for the Java Sim team. They do not want to have this kind of battle because they're letting P10 slip away from their fingers. That's the final points paying positions, and that's being currently held by... No, in fact, that's Raja Amir Shaukat, Arman Abdullah. Arman Abdullah is a Mercedes, but Raja Amir Shaukat, P11, just 3 seconds behind. Amazing amount of battling that we've seen today right now. And it's only just the bronze class, and we've said it time and time again, bronze just really delivers the action, and it's still bringing the action here. The passionate racing boys are ganging up on the lone Filipino Porsche of Alonso Marquez Lacambra, and it looks as though it's Dominic Poon who will be looking onto the inside, coming into the Yachts curve.
Yeah, he has that. He has that line now. He takes a position from Alonso Marquez and stays ahead of Alonso Marquez. Throughout the exit there, Alonso could only just watch on as both the teammates here of Dominic Poon and Felix Young still lay ahead here with Felix up on the podium places.
Yep, but we saw just now how those two guys can be very fast when they're ganging up together here. Let's see if they can form a bit of a line and try to get up to the back of Bradley Martins, who incidentally has been out of our sights, doing an incredible job to just make a beeline for it, and up to P2. It's 5 seconds ahead of this particular battling trio, but about 7 seconds behind Iman Ryan. So Iman has actually checked out and thus fulfilling his promise, that the pace that he had from qualifying.
I think I also saw for a brief moment there Arman Abdullah just pushing Unknown down into like 2/10, 1/10 a second, and they just entered the stadium section here. So I think Arman might be looking to try to make a pass. In fact, he's always trying to have a look on the outside and on the inside. Cannot quite find a weakness here, as Netcode's also making it a little bit hard for us to judge this. But nevertheless, Arman is still behind Unknown, who's all over the place right now, but still ahead of Arman's AMG GT.
Yeah, that looks quite awkward, isn't it? The way that you turn left to go right and right to go left. So they're taking Doc Hudson's advice a little too literally, as left and right goes Unknown, trying to actually block off Arman Abdullah and Taehan Iranga. Coming to turn 1, side by side they go. Oh, that is a big, big hit. But somehow both of them managed to keep it together, and Arman Abdullah goes out to P8. But that allows Yeon-jan and the other driver to face Raja Amir Shaukat, coming out to the back of all of them. There he goes. Can he make the position stick? We're going to go on board with him. He's watching brief in all of this.
Miro flashing his lights on the Arman, trying to find a way through, cannot get a way through. He has stuck it behind Theron, who unfortunately is also on the inside there. Arman's going to cut him off around the top there, so Roger Miro had to back off and stay behind the cars. One of the cars slowed down there. I think it's Arman who actually had to slow down
possibly due to a cut track penalty, and then unfortunately collects Raja Amiral as he comes out of the chicane.
Oh, wow, and Raja Amiral was lucky to get away with that one because the netcode allowed him to go through his car rather than getting more damage. As you can see there, the car is pretty much intact, so luckily he got away with that one as Ferdy goes on the inside. Oh, that is very, very late from Ferdy. We saw him battling with Nizar Rizky Ramadan, and there's Nizar now. 2 BMWs ganging up the McLaren, and then we still have 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in this race.
Yeah, both the BMWs probably feel a bit frustrated right now that Raja Amiral is still ahead of them here, and a huge gap is already starting to build up just in front of Raja Amiral. So the longer they stay behind him, the worse off they're going to get. Dehan getting a bit of contact there with Unknown, but Unknown still stays up in front. Oh, sorry, that's not Dehan. That's No, there is Dehan.
Tehan Iranga, Iranga was the one still. But he's shown that he was quite a fighter when he was in Copper last season. Now he's doing it all over again in much faster cars in Bronze. But he's finding a bit of a barrier in the form of Unknown, where it's an unknown barrier, isn't it? Just trying to get by, it's quite tough, as opposed to trying to chase up to him.
Yeah, and the thing is that, there's still a, 4-second gap from Unknown all the way to making Cal. So really, the Unknown is literally the only benchmark now that Devon needs to get over here. Nevertheless, Ferdy still stuck behind Arman now, and Arman in turn is stuck behind Nizar here. We have a traffic jam just outside of the top 10 here, and the gatekeeper Nizar is basically keeping his car ahead of Arman right now, ahead of this other BMW. It's making it hard for them to actually get past.
And we remember what happened to Amir Rafi at the start of this race, where he went into the barriers, harpooning and just into the grass. Well, here he is now in P14, somehow manages to recover. We saw as well in Copper how Raul Dave was sent spat right to the back of the grid, but somehow managed to get up to the top 10 by the race end. So it shows that recovery is possible, but can he make it an overtake maneuver possible here? Yes, he does. Somehow manages to just outfox Ferdy Ramadan out of there, and Ferdy has to take a penalty for that one.
Yeah, unfortunately had to slow down, and that's given the place now to Ferdy. Raja Amiral now going around the outside here. I think that's Dehan he's trying to fight against here. Dehan in the gold and black McLaren, whereas Raja Amiral has the works-colored papaya color. Still not able to get past, unfortunately, though. Dehan now goes on the attack on Unknown instead.
Yeah, the Sim Racing Lanka driver, that's a really nice livery that they got there. They've been running custom liveries ever since they made their first appearance in Global Edition. There's Iranga on the inside of Unknown. Unknown on the outside. Arman Hashim's out of the race, unfortunately. He probably has had enough. Too many incidents there as Tehan Iranga still can't get by Unknown. Amazingly, Unknown's putting a very staunch defense.
Yeah, that's put Dehan right back into the clutches of Raja Amiral, who is now all over him, taking him in from the outside here, denying him the proper line through his corner here. But Dehan still has the inside though, still gets ahead of Raja Amiral, but the switchback comes around immediately at the next corner. But Raja Amiral still on the outside. He has to take the slightly worse line, but can he carry enough speed compared to Dehan in order to stay alongside him going through the next part? It's still side by side. It's not side by side anymore. Raja Amiral tucks it behind, and now Arman is getting the mix, getting into the right-hand corner of Raja Amiral, not able to find a way through, and Raja Amiral still outside of the fight here. But Dehan now using the opportunity. The netcode might have affected it there because he just got hit. Another car got collected. The BMW is down, but yeah, the race is over.
Yeah, we don't even have a formal confirmation that the checker flag came out. So out of our sight, Iman Ryan wins after taking pole position in race number 1 in qualifying. He had quite an indifferent first race, but now he proved his pace by winning race number 2. What a way to do so. Amazing win out of our sides. Bradley Martins in second, and third is Felix Young.
Yeah, apologies again. The broadcast overlay doesn't quite show when the checker flag comes up. The final lap had just been concluded there, and yep, Iman Ryan, finally some redemption for him, isn't it?
Indeed, and it's some way to actually making up for a really poor first race start, because you saw him in the we saw him in the grass. In fact, he was the only Red Bull colored Ford Mustang. He had a custom livery on board for good measure, so we know who he was. He played a game of catch-up since then in the first race. Finished well to get out into the top 5, but he had an objective to do. Try to win race number 2, and he did just that.
He did just that indeed. So well done, Imran Ryan, taking the win in race number 2, more than making up for the slight disappointment for him that was race number 1. But nevertheless, Bradley Martin's also a fantastic race here. I mean, second place here, and I think quite a silent but deadly killer, isn't he?
In a way, yeah. Not only that, but he's also quite a fighter, a real gladiator to just fight it against some of these fast guys. And guess what? It paid dividends for him. He was in the points in both of the races. Yes, he had his moments where he made a bit of a mistake coming to the stadium section in race number 1 onto the gravel. But apart from that, a very strong first weekend for him as well. It might be quite tight here to decide who is in first place come the end of the first round.
And last but not least, Felix Young managed to make it into 3rd place. So him, along with Dominic Foon, seem to be quite the dominant duo here in this class, isn't it?
Yeah, the Passionate Racing boys have been taking part in Endurance Edition, and we know how good they are over there. So the delivery they're running probably is a precursor of what they're going to show in the Endurance Series after this. That'll be quite nice to see once they come out fighting with that one. But yeah, the Passionate Racing boys are probably the main favorites now coming into the second round of the season. We're looking out for that one next week.
Yeah, so without further ado, I think that is it right now for our bronze class, right?
Yep.
Yeah, bronze class racers. So up next, we're going to have even more elite drivers coming into the mix. The gold and silver class drivers will be up next. It's also going to be the same format, 2 races as well. Same cars?
Well, that we'll have to find out after the short break. So that's a bit of a treat for you guys. Welcome back then. So we are now at the creme de la creme for the, what could be said, has been an exciting night of racing in Global Edition 14 round number 1 for the gold class and silver class combined. And before we get to the nitty-gritty of it and we get to reveal what cars are on display, let's just remind ourselves where we're racing here tonight. Okay, Victor.
Yeah, it's the Hockenheimring. In fact, this is the 1994 to 2001 layout, so it's a longer version of this track, but it has 3 chicanes in it, unlike the original layout, Hockenheimring. Very fast track. Chicanes probably provide a lot of entertainment for us here today, as a lot of action has been happening on these chicanes itself. It goes into a nice stadium section as well, with a fantastic technical course, and all in all, it's been delivering races for us here, even from the copper class to the bronze class.
Indeed. And speaking of from the copper class to the bronze class, let's actually run through again the championship winners from last season, season 13. And one of the main protagonists is on the very far left here, beat out his brother in the most extraordinary championship battles we've seen in gold ever. 3 drivers going into the final round with a mathematical chance. All three of them had absolute mares. Sometimes we thought, who wants to win this championship? They were actually throwing it away, but Nakib came out right in the end with the championship title, his third championship in Global Edition, or maybe fourth. We'll have to look back at the records there. Vladi Malik with a very dominant silver class championship in the Porsche that particular season. He'll be one to watch out for here in the gold class as he gets promoted. Kazani Ramdani, we'll see him in silver as well, who is back-to-back champion in the bronze class. So that's the first time ever we had a back-to-back champion, but it's outside of gold. And last but not least, Rajamri Shaka, we saw just now in copper, in bronze, who was the copper champion last season.
Exactly right. And Nakib Aslan, besides having so much achievements as well here in the eRacing GP series, has also been one of the nominees this year by the Malaysian Esports Award for Racing Game Player of the Year. So he's one of the nominees. We don't know yet who has won. We're going to be finding out next week itself. But nevertheless, so happy for Nakib Aslan. I mean, he's done so much, even since the first time he's raced behind the wheel of a sim until now. What a journey he's had, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And he also became a real-life winner in the Sepang 1000 kilometer race in 2022. So it's just a combination, is it, from the way he started, that was around 2019 when I first ran into him in the sim racing competition, all the way up to that particular point, and it's just going in complete stride. And it culminating also last year in winning the Asia Pacific GT Championship in winning an Olympic medal, basically.
Effectively,
and out of our side, our producer Imran Zahaili was also the other driver who was in that particular team. He was also hard carry, by the way. So they were both worthy winners of the gold medal in that particular instance. So I can see why Nakib is one of the nominees, and you're actually one of the panels. You didn't want to toot your horn, but it has to be said, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm so honored really to be part of the committee because we get to show a lot of recognition here to the efforts that a lot of us competitive sim racers here in Malaysia usually don't get. So it's fantastic. It's great that the Malaysian Esports Awards decided to open up this category here to show recognition for all these guys who have basically worked hard these last few years purely out of their passion, purely out of their interest of sim racing. And now, we're on the cusp of where this has become a pathway really for people to start a career in motorsports, just like how Nakib Aslan has.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a legitimate career nonetheless, because it's kind of like a proper path from your bedroom all the way to an actual career, either be a full-on sim racer or you can even do it out on the real tracks.
Exactly. So in any case, you want to talk us through what we're seeing on the screen here with these cars?
I think we could have kept people a bit edging about what kind of cars we have on track right now, but here it is.
Here it is. Oh my god.
There we go. One of them is a Nissan GTR R34. And of course, no introductions needed for that one. It's probably the poster child for every single guy growing up, what kind of car they like. But in fact, we need to find Keith Mo. He's in the pit lane right now, but his particular car is probably one of the best ones. We can see it right now.
Oh yeah. Gotta see the side profile of this one here because it's such a tribute here to probably one of the most iconic R34s in the world, practically. In case you guys couldn't see that car particularly had the Paul Walker livery, exactly the same look and feel as the original car that featured in the Fast and Furious, or rather the second Fast and Furious movie, isn't it?
Because we always keep thinking it's the first one, but he actually had the Supra at that time, wasn't it? The Mark.
He had the Supra. He also had the Eclipse.
Yes.
Started with the Eclipse. That got destroyed, unfortunately. And then just moved on. And then the second movie, Too Fast and Furious, is where he came in with the R34. So it's that exact livery that Keith Mo is carrying right now. His practice comes to a close, and we're going to be starting off with our qualifying session. This one will only last 6 minutes. And as we've seen earlier with the copper and bronze class, not a lot of time, especially if you're making a mistake on your outlap, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the fact that it really can set you back a lot, especially what we saw in bronze, where it was Danny Effendi, wasn't it, who got bogged twice in qualifying because he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And you wouldn't want it to happen like that, especially when a competitive field like this with such varying degrees of cars involved. The speed differentials may be coming into play here, but having said that, Roy Ripperip, we were expecting him to at least be somewhere in the 204s and 5s. Actually was the fastest driver out there in the GTR, no less. 203 flat, faster than some of the GT1 cars, so that would be one to watch out for.
I'm also really curious. Like, did he get a time legally? Hopefully that is the case here. Anyways, qualifying has started. You can see everyone literally jump out of the pits at the same time in order to try to get themselves out of the track and have themselves as much opportunity as they can to get some good time. So we've waxed lyrical about the R34s, and again, yeah, that's the Paul Walker tribute R34 that Keith Moe is driving right now. Look at that, the blue racing stripe, the blue dotted stripe on the side of the car. Yep. Such an iconic looking car, isn't it?
Absolutely. And his face looks a bit bloated right now in the picture because he's normally not that chubby in real life. So probably the headphones are a bit squeezed there, and he's wearing his jammies ready for straight to bed after a long week of school. But his dad designed an absolutely smashing livery, and I like that little tribute to Paul Walker put it against it. But again, we did say that we were waxing lyrical about it. Let's see some of the other cars are on track.
Oh man, like there's a second I got to say the NSX, and of course this one here, the Ferrari, the F355? 360. Okay, this is the 360 Modena, but it's part of the Ferrari Challenge series. And I even saw like one of the guys on boards here. This is another car that's such a blast of the past here. The orange colored NSX GT 500.
And it's a nice color, but we didn't get to use the championship winning one from 2000, which was the Takata Dome car number 16.
Yeah.
This one is the Arthur car, driven none other than Aguri Suzuki and Keiji Tsuchiya.
Keiji Tsuchiya himself. So yeah, it's such a blast of the past. But the thing is, like, I wonder, did these cars actually race on Hockenheim in period? I don't think so, right?
No, they didn't. But they did. There are several descendants afterwards, aka the DTM and Super GT class, came together for 2019. That's when they did race. But period correct? No, unfortunately. But one can dream.
Yeah, I mean, again, we've got such a mix of like legendary cars, from the late 90s to 2000s, and another one right on the screens here. It was the Supra, the A80 Supra itself.
Yep.
So again, a car that had a very storied history in motor racing itself. Famously has competed even in the Nordschleife, or the Nürburgring 24 hours as well. And today is going to be taking to another German track here, which is going to be the Hockenheimring. But nevertheless, again, blast of the past, the Castro livery just brings me back so many memories, of like growing up watching these cars, roar on TV back then.
And of course, Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo, again, yeah, like the livery is exactly the same as you would see in Gran Turismo, isn't it?
Yep, with a bit of a Cooler Master touch in between, but because of how it looks a bit low poly, it makes it look like we're watching Gran Turismo 2 or even 3. It's beautiful. It just brings a lot of those nostalgic fuzzies out of there. As we look at Calvin Powden driving that particular Castrol Tom Supra coming into the Yachts curve, we see a couple of other drivers behind, incidentally, as well. Big lock up there. Driving in the Super GTs. There's Aldo Balagulan driving in the title-winning Pennzoil GT500 as well.
Yeah, another legendary livery here for the R34. I mean, again, we meme a lot about this car in the motoring enthusiast community. Given that it had the moniker Godzilla given by Australian journalists when it competed in Australia back in the day, and even till to this day, I still feel like it's one of those timeless cars. No matter which era, which kind of like timeline you put it in, it always just seems like a car out of this world.
Absolutely. And speaking of an out of this world car, this is another car that's quite underrated in GT circles, but it is no less unsuccessful because the Ferrari 550 Maranello GTS, that is the quintessential GT car from Ferrari. It was very successful. Won Le Mans in its class in 2003 in the GT1 category, and won the Spa 24, as well as winning in several other championships around the world. So it is a very successful car, even if it's overshadowed by later versions of other cars like the Maserati MC12s and all that, which came to dominate the later GT1 class. But nonetheless, it's still a handy piece of kit. And in the right hands, like Naki Baslan, 204.2, fastest so far, but we're still waiting for what Roy Ripper can do in that Nissan. In fact, he has done so, a 205.4, so about a second and a half behind here, but it's to be expected because we thought that the GTRs and the NSXs and the Supras can be a little bit slower on the straights compared to the GT1 cars, but they make their time a lot through the corners.
Exactly, and I think like unlike the BCRC cars that we had in the bronze class early on, these cars I don't think they are like BOP the same as BCRC cars, so they have a lot of differences in the drivetrain, the layout, the way the car handles in these corners. So understanding how your car, how exactly not only how the car works, but how to push it to the limit is important here for both Roy as well as Nakib Aslan here in order to get themselves into this pole position battle. A little bit of a cut there, I think, from Roy.
Oh yeah, that's a big cut there from Roy, but maybe he's just trying to wind himself back up for another lap because he's not able to actually get a clean one out of this. As we look at further in front, there's a gaggle of cars right there. That looks like Calvin Powell again. Yep, Calvin Powell with Nico Sage. Oh, there goes Roy. Yep, just as I said, I think he might have actually scuffed his lap, so that's why he decided to just straight line.
Cutting it so close though. It's only 5 seconds left before the timer runs out. Is he going to even be able to start a new lap?
Negative, he doesn't. As Nico and Calvin Powell going side by side here, coming to the stadium section.
Yeesh.
Oh, that is not
No.
what. That's so not on. And Nico goes off.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate there. But again, like, I think it was completely unnecessary, really, for both of these cars to come together like that, especially this close to the end of the qualifying session. If anything, I would have expected them to back out. But nevertheless, that's... Unfortunately, he's going to have to pay for the consequences here, and that means not being able to set a good time in the closing moments of this qualifying.
Yep, Calvin Powell crosses the line. There's Roy Rip. And well, there we go. That's pole position. Because he was actually just trying to get back to the pits, I think. He wasn't able to just go through again, start another lap. He wanted to chase after the time. But there you go. That's pole position for him. Nakibaz. In fact, Nabil goes onto pole position. Deservedly so after having such a scuff first lap. We saw him crashing off into the barriers coming out to turn 1 just now. But Nabil, well, we're seeing him in our third camera right now. He hangs his head a bit. He should be happy with that, knowing that he's on his phone.
Yeah, he's literally texting his friend or like saying, yeah, I did it. I managed to take that pole position from you. But nevertheless, yeah, Roy now split between the Aslan brothers here, and they're the only 3 people who have been able to set a time under 2:04. So, I mean, that's interesting. I mean, again, like, there's only a split of 1/10 between the 3 of them.
Yep. And they're, point to note, they're the only 2 drivers in the Feza, as we like to call
Feza.
yeah, nickname, among all the drivers who have got the GT5 So I'm surprised that Nabil and Nakib have not gone to the Supra because they are quite Toyota affiliated. You know them full well.
Yeah.
They race IRL in those. But
hey, but again, you know, whenever you're going for these races here, you pick the right tool for the right job, right? And given the story history of the 550, it's an obvious choice.
Fair enough. Well, now we go straight to the action here. And once again, Victor, you might take away for the start of the race, but we are going to run through a few drivers a bit further behind, especially in the GT2 class. We didn't really pay attention to.
Yeah, unfortunately. So we got who we got here? Dingo John Lay. Oh wait, that's a DNF right there. I see.
He's not in the server, unfortunately.
Not in the server. So that's what we got. In the back here, we got Aldo Balagulan, Khan Zaini Ramdani.
Yep.
And we got Nasbir Aslan in 11th place.
That's the third of the Aslan, so there's 3 N Aslans on the grid.
Yep. So
And he's, yeah.
yeah, the youngest, if I recall correctly, of the Aslan brothers here.
Yep.
Then in front of him in 10th place, we got Chu Young Ming. We got Cameron James in 9th place. I'm familiar with this kid as well. In the community that I run with, he's also one of the fastest drivers amongst that community here. So look to see him as well taking part in the eRacing Grand Prix here and in the gold and silver class, no less. Jaden Chia is in 8th place here. We got Kellen Powell in that Castrol Supra, also here in 7th place, just behind Nicola Maxime Sage, who is driving in the Honda NSX here. 50 seconds left here. Let's go ahead to the top 5. We got Keith Mo in 5th place, also driving in NSX. We got Jasmine Tan in the 4th place, just alongside him. He is also in the NSX.
No, actually, no, it's not NSX. It's actually both in the GTRs.
Oh, this is GTR, sorry. Yeah, it's both the GTRs here that they are running here. Then, of course, we got our top 3, Nakib Aslan in the Ferrari here, which, funny enough, is actually the very Ferrari that Alex Zanardi and Giancarlo Fisichella drove back in the day. Then we got Roy Numer Riparip driving the GTR as well in the front row next to Nabil Aslan, the second brother of the Aslan's family here. So he is in the lead just in front of his elder brother.
Yep, take it away for the start, Vic.
Yep, the red lights are going on. 6 in total. The revs are going up high. And we are off. Nakim Aslan having a way better start compared to his brother right now. Tries to slip in between. Catches a gap just between the Ferrari and the GTR and slips, looks like, into the lead here. Nakim Aslan leading from the first turn itself as contact is happening all over the back there. We got an NSX, we got a GTR, 2 GTRs hitting the wall, another Ferrari hitting as well. All these guys, Jaden Chia able to get himself back into the race now, but with a broken windscreen. We got an NSX joining behind him as well as Nakim Aslan continues to lead his brother, but Nabil is now alongside, fighting against him, not able to get in front of Nakim. Nakim still stayed in front, but look at that. Nabil Aslan comes up in front and takes a position right outside of chicanes.
Oh, they nearly came a cropper there, but Nakim managed to get away with not cutting the chicane, as now Roy Ripper is right behind him, so there's a three-way battle immediately up in front. Coming up to the second chicane, the Oats curve. Let's see if Nakim wants to dive back one on the inside here. Coming through the chicane. Nope, he's too far away this time, and he has a bit of damage at the front of the car, probably due to the fact that he was pinched between Nabil and Roy Ripper coming into that first turn.
Exactly, like that damage will certainly affect the aerodynamics of the car, making it a little bit harder, but nevertheless, he's taking as much toll as he can of a Nabil's car to come up towards the Senna chicane. Again, it's slightly different than the other because it starts with a left-hand turn, and Nabil Aslan already had the position, so he takes it. Nakim Aslan now tries to find the exit, but Nabil clutches in front of him, and now forces Nakim to try to sling around the other side, taking the outside, really, as they enter the stadium.
Yep, coming to turn number 12 here. Let's see if both of them are going to give way. It's going to be pretty tight between the two. The Aslan brothers coming through the stadium section. Nakim gets it planted around the outside. Manages to take the lead out of that. But a bit of a touch. That might have been a leg hit. And Nabil tucks in behind his brother. They're probably going to be working together from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, again, both of them, look at how far they are from Roy's car, just literally a whole arm's length away. Nakim Aslan now leading his brother as they come along to the main straight here, but the two Ferraris are clearly building up a significant lead over the GTR now, so Roy is going to have his work cut out for him to catch up to the rest of them. Nasmir Aslan, the younger brother, the youngest brothers of the three here, currently driving the Porsche, is now under attack, looks like, from a Castrol Supra here. I think that's Kelvin Powell right now on the inside, taking the position away from Nasmir Aslan, demoting him down to 7th, and now he's also going to be under pressure here from an Indonesian driver, Kanzani Ramdhani, who is currently driving another Ferrari behind this Porsche here, and he's looking to try to eat him up for 7th place.
Yeah, and this is also a battle between two different classes, of course, because that Porsche is now leader of the silver category. So Nazmi then leading in front of Kazani Ramdhani, and Ramdhani was one of the dominant guys in the bronze class last season. In fact, well, he did go all the way to the final race, but he was one of the dominant guys in total when he started out in copper. Went up to bronze mid-season, really was one of the fastest guys there. He could have won the championship in the first season, but came around the second time, won it, and then won last time out. As he can see here, comes out to the front, overtakes, misjudges it, and he has to give that way, or does he? He still goes side by side.
But then again,
no! Oh!
Nasmir loses control in the exit there, and again, the Porsche is not exactly the easiest cars to drive, but that's massive damage that Nasmir has committed to his car now as he gets past here and drops out of the top 10. That's Jessamine Tan and Cameron James, who just passed him there for 8 and 9 respectively. So Nasmir now down to the final slot here of the top 10 here, and what an upset really for his drive.
Yep. Ooh, someone cut a chicane completely there. That might have been Cameron James, but we saw just now Nico Sage actually was right up against the wall, so he's the one that actually was, unfortunately, in the way, right in the path of Nazmir Aslan as he was crashing. And you can see when we come as close as possible to him, cracked windshield, really scuffed front end.
Yeah, who knows what other kind of suspension damage he might have had when he collected Nicola just now. Or did they get in contact with each other?
I think so. They might have actually come into contact because of really unfortunate circumstances where he happened to be there, he probably just parked it, and then Nazmir sort of smacked into the back of him.
Yeah, so unfortunate. In any case, the other two Aslan brothers are certainly having a way better time now, although the gap between both Nabil and Akib has actually widened since last we saw them a lap ago. 4 seconds between both of these guys here. Nakib is just absolutely pulling away, and you can see that Roy the whole time is still stuck behind Nabil. at this point now a 2-second gap between the GTR and the Ferrari 550 in front of him. But again, very comfortable position to be in regardless, because there's not much threat or pressure for Nabil. At least, the GTR is so far away that it's not really dominating your mind too much, especially when you're braking for these chicanes here. So I think for the most part, as long as they keep it nice and tidy, I don't see how they would make it a 1-2 finish here for both the Aslan brothers.
Indeed. As now we see Keith Moe actually in P5. Behind Aldo Balagulan there is poor old Nico Sage, the young French Malaysian who's, parked it up for this first one. He probably got fed up with it after the first corner incident where he was really on the worst end of it, because a few cars smacked at him. He was in the barriers and just probably thought, okay, let's wait for race number 2.
Yeah, Keith Moe right now. Youngster is still trying to catch up. He's still in the top 5 though, and he's within touching distance of Aldo. So if he could just close that 2-second gap, that might work wonders for him. I saw Roy come within a second of touching Nabil Aslan, but now that gap has gotten back down to 2 seconds. So I'm not sure if that's a timing error or something. But regardless, Roy is still in the running here to challenge Nabil Aslan should he make a mistake anytime during this race.
Yep. The cars are a bit more spaced out now as the race settles into a bit of rhythm. We had was a chaotic start. That's the reason why the cars are more spread out. We're just going to cycle through the field as we come close to the halfway point right now. About 8.5 minutes left to go here. We're almost a minute away from the halfway point. Let's see some of the other guys who are in the field. Cameron James then, who cut the chicane right behind Jasmine Tan, and Jasmine Tan still running in P3 in the silver class, so that's a good start for him in his first ever round in this particular category. Nazmi though, your heart goes out to him.
Yeah, I mean, still in is 10th place still a points paying position?
Well, we split the points between gold and silver.
Ah, yeah, so he's in the lead for the silver class, isn't it?
Yes. No, actually, in fact, that's Kanzani, so...
Kanzani, so okay. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be very tough for Nasmir to accept this here, because again, I think that slide that he got into was not really due to contact, so a bit of a mistake, literally a mistake on his part here. And again, the Porsches this era and even now are still very tricky machines to come out of the corner aggressively with, like the rear engine layout certainly doesn't make it easy to put the power back on immediately, especially when you're under pressure like Anasmir was. Nevertheless, let's hope he's going to be able to recover well. At least he's ahead of Chu Young Ming right now, who is the closest challenger as far as you can see on the track right now for threatening a position here of anyone on the track, not just Nasmir, obviously, but Nasmir nevertheless looking very much having recovered. In spite of the damage there, that damage certainly will be a bit of a handicap should Chu Young Min finally catch up. As Jaden Chia spins out in his Ferrari now, and I mean, fortunately for him, there's no one to pass him behind, but nevertheless, it's put him down so far now, 9 seconds behind Chu Young Min.
Yep, and we saw in our review mirrors just now, Jaden just misjudged that a bit, and the grass here in particular is much more treacherous compared to grass in other mods on the Santa Corsa, where once you slip on it, you can't stop. So it's unkept ground that really becomes quite slippery. It's almost like morning dew. It's never left the circuit.
Yeah. I've never been to the actual Hockenheimring, so I'm wondering what the actual elevation is at the where that circuit is located. But it will certainly make sense, as like a lot of track in Europe typically have much colder weather as well, so a bit of dew forming onto on the grass, on the trees is certainly not uncommon at all, even on race days. Nevertheless, Jaden Chia, I think he may have a lot more issues with his car here, because that's the second time we've seen him spin out, so either the tires are a little bit overheated now, or he's facing some sort of mechanical issue that's making it hard for him to complete these turns.
Yep. As there's Yan Ming up to the back of Nazmir, so it's a battle between the two young guns. Nazmir just slightly older than Yan Ming. Yan Ming 15 this year, Nazmir 17, so kind of like carrying the torch for the future of Malaysian sim racing here, coming up through the ranks right now, and provisionally both are in silver, but pretty soon, once they've actually hit that prime, they'll probably be in gold in no time. But we're seeing kind of like probably a teaser of what's to come, you think?
Yeah, I suppose so. Again, effectively the way that the eRacing GP has been structured is that it helps, not only provide a competition space for the elite class drivers, here in the silver and gold class, but especially for the younger drivers here, it gives them a good ladder to actually try to start to climb, to fight, rather to see how they match up against peers of similar skill level, isn't it? So with the experience that both of these youngsters are going to accrue from having gone through this process, that's going to certainly help them a lot in future races.
And certainly experience will come to play here as Yan Ming makes a mess out of the Oats curve and has Jaden Chia for company. So Jaden, despite a couple of spins, managed to actually reel back in Yan Ming. So that is not what he wanted to see in his rearview mirrors. A position that could possibly be lost in the closing laps, and Yan Ming really mounted the curves quite hard there. It's just too much for the car to handle, and fortunately he kept it under control. So, but Jaden though is definitely going to be licking his lips here. At least he has a position to play with. Plus, in fact they're quite far off from Nazmir Aslan, who's holding key to pole position. Yes, they might be in separate classes, but we still count as overall. And GT2 car can be on pole position, would you believe it? So that's how it happens.
I'm a simple man. I see a car in front of me, I want to pass. So
yes.
It doesn't matter which class they are from. It's like I'm still going to try to make the pass anyway.
I mean, it's kind of like in shooting games in CS:GO.
Yeah.
I see enemy, I shoot.
Yeah, exactly. Nevertheless,
you don't segregate or just try to choose your target. You just hit whoever comes into your line of sight.
Yeah, if you're on the track with me, it's fair game. Oh, no!
Oh!
Lost it into the barriers. There is Chu Yang Ming as Jaden Chia just says, thank you very much. Moves up to 11th place. What happened there? It looked like it was like, I don't know. Like it seemed like he made a mistake somewhere, but what exactly caused that?
Oh, that's really unfortunate. And that just sends him out of contention for a top 10 finish, which would actually give him the opportunity to start on pole position. So now, let's see how this goes for him. For Jaden Chia in PA11, can he catch up to the back of Nazmir? While Yan Ming will be happy to just finish off the race here and get some points to put on the board.
In the meantime, another battle is starting to form before our very eyes here with 2 minutes and 30 seconds still remaining inside this fight here. Kanzani Ramdani currently driving the Ferrari, and Jessamine Tan in front of him in the yellow GTR. Now in the battle for 7th place here. Ramdani seemed to have gotten close earlier on, but now the gap is widened up to almost 2 seconds now between these two cars. I thought there was an opportunity earlier on in the sector for Kanzani to actually close the gap there to Jessamine, but seemed to have lost it before entering the stadium section.
And a point to note, because this is the GT2 car versus GT500, so difference in performance here might come to the fore, but Ramdani though, 2 seconds behind, is not that far away from creating a bit of an upset, though he'll be loving to stay here in this position because it does secure him the points needed to get off the ground, really fighting from the first round onwards.
Yeah, I mean, again, I have to kind of like pay my tribute to RaceSim Studio for making such an awesome recreation of this classic race car from the 2000s, because man, my goodness, like especially having tried these cars for myself, it just brings you back to that era. And I think that's precisely the kind of intention really of getting these drivers to use these cars, right, is to give them experience that otherwise would be kind of lost to the annals of history.
Yep, absolutely. That's the reason why we never had real-life racing between the GT1s and GT500s, because probably the difference in regulations at the time didn't forbid it, but it didn't allow it. But because of the beauty of sim racing, we actually get to put these together and just see how it goes. Unfortunately for this first round, maybe consider it an outlier, because we knew that the GT1 cars were going to be fast on the straights anyway, and compared to some of the GT500s who are faster through the corners. And there have been some corners where you can see that the GT500s could fight, but maybe we could save that for the next round in a couple of weeks' time. We'll announce the circuit very soon.
I see. Well, that's going to be certainly something for all of you at home whom I can see there's actually like 40 plus people watching the stream right now. Thanks for all of you joining us here tonight to see the conclusion of this epic racing that we're going to be seeing throughout the season here. Nakib Aslan, of course, still in the lead. Looks like Nabil is starting to catch back up to his brother here, closing the gap now to 1.7 seconds. So this is already coming towards the end. In fact, this should be the final lap here for both Nakib and Nabil, as well as the timer turns to 0. And there we have the confirmation that this is going to be the final lap.
Indeed, and we saw Nakib just now had a bit of a lead, about 3.5 seconds ahead of Nabil, but Nakib sort of actually backed off a bit because now it gives Nabil a chance to actually close up to the back of him. Let's see then. Well, you can hear as a V12, a beautiful 6-liter Nomiya created V12.
The soundtracks of these mod cars. I mean, again, like, when you compare to the early days of sim racing, where just a simple representation was enough, to tickle your fancy. I mean, this era of simulators is just on a whole other level of immersion.
Absolutely, and you can get to experience this from the comfort of your own home. You don't have to go onto a track day or get these, unicorn cars, basically, because only 10 of these particular units by ProDrive, or in this case eRacing, were ever made. So it's really hard to find them in possession that you can have it in mint condition to drive. So we get the opportunity to do this in sim racing, and what a sight and sound it is. But you just can't get enough of that. Basically, the V12 in full song. As we come up now to the final sector here for the final time.
Oh,
and oh no! Oh, Nabil goes off!
Goes off. In fact, no, Roy is about 7 seconds behind. Can Nabil recover in time?
No, he
will be
can't.
overtaken. He will be overtaken. The GTR Roy Numer Rip takes second place of an unforced error coming up from Nabil Aslan.
Wow, would you believe it? We saw last season how he had the title in his hand and dropped it in the final race in the season. It looks like the story continues here in the first race of a brand new season. Nakib comes across the line, takes victory in round number 1, race number 1 here for the gold and silver class. Roy Ripperip with an amazing second place comes across there to take a 1 for the GT500s, and Japan up to P2 he goes, and Nabil Aslan Hart goes out there. We're not going to interview any of these guys afterwards because full well they're still having the adrenaline running high, and they might say something that will be probably regrettable on camera, so we'll leave it at that. But what? It was a bit of a sleeper, don't you think? Because it just was a slow burner. But then suddenly, out of nowhere, while we were on board with Nabil, that happened.
Again, like, this experience so far, even casting like previously the copper and bronze classes, have really made me wonder, is there really something to accompany this curse here?
We'll wait and see. And we saw how it had championship implications that time around. But that's the end of race number 1. We need to take a breath, and we'll come around back for race number 2. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back then to the crescendo to what has been an amazing night of racing, but the first race was a bit of a slow burner for gold and silver, Victor, from myself, Amazik, and Victor Cax. We were looking forward to this, but maybe it's a bit premature to say so. But now the second race, because the field is turned on its head, might be a more exciting race.
I mean, it just might be. We're talking about like the faster drivers having the order flipped around now for race number 2 here. So that means both Nakib as well as Nabil Aslan and Roy Numer Ribarib will both be starting from like somewhere in the back of the grid, really. I think the top 10 positions are the ones that reverse here in this series. So yeah, indeed, that somehow or rather has actually put them in range of their younger brother Nazmir as well. Nevertheless, the red lights are going on right now as we are getting ready for race number 2 here of the gold and silver class. And we are off. The R34 is now trying to get a good start. So is the Ferraris are getting piled up together in the back of the grid here as the front runners continue to go on. We got 2 Ferraris now in the front here. That's going to be Jaden Chia and Cameron James now fighting for the lead. Kamzani is also trying to get himself in the mix as well, using the other Ferrari, trying his very best. He is behind Jaden Chia right now. We got Kelvin Powell as well in that Toyota Supra, trying to hold off the R34, the yellow colored one, to his left. And then we also got just behind him a Ferrari now catching very closely behind him. I think it's Nakib Aslan right now. Oh, a contact as the R34 gets into the barrier, still sliding its way towards chicane, tries to get back on track, collects a car. I think it's Jaden Chia. He's just gone into, and Jaden falls down a couple places. Nakib and Nabil Aslan trying to avoid all the chaos now as Jasmine Tan has to slow down a bit to take the penalty, allowing a stream of cars to go past him as he drops down to the back of the grid.
Oh, where do we start with that? That was quite amazing that Oliver Balagulan somehow, who got tagged from behind, smacked into the side of another car, manages to face it forwards again, and somehow walked away there almost unscathed. But at the expense of the fact that the car is losing a bit of momentum on the front straightaway, and let Nakib Aslan go for it. And that was Nakib, yeah, Nakib coming through. And he's not even racing this home break, by the way. He's actually in Johor right now, part of a tour of Axel Sports. So luckily, though, he managed to find a rig that's sturdy enough for him to go through, and he takes the lead again.
Yep, he takes the lead from Kamzani. Kamzani almost looked like he was going to try to fight back, could not get the speed required to go alongside the chicane, and now Nabil takes the opportunity as well, takes a position for Kamzani, demoting him down to 3rd place, and now he has to fight for that place here as I think that's Aldo Gulan has also caught up here, and the R34 is also going against Kazani and takes a position. He's up in the podium places.
Yep. And was a very lucky guy to walk away with that one, because he had a very big moment to get away with spinning on the grass, harpooning into the side of another car, and still manages to get on with it. So somehow, or could have been another car involved in there, it might have been Roy or whoever, but whatever it is, GTR was involved in that, and mercifully, the entire field are still in the race.
Yeah, Keith Moore right now catching Nicola. I think there's a very close battle that's happening in the back of the grid right now as Roy tries to get himself close. Keith Moore right now in that Paul Walker tribute livery. R34 is catching the orange-colored NSX of Nicola here. And Nicola currently in 7th place now is going to have to defend going to the chicane. In fact, it's already taking the car into the inside here, but that's given the space now for Keith Moore to try to run alongside going into the Clark chicane. In fact, he's already in front of Nicola by the time they had to break for that corner, so he takes a position. But look at that, the NSX is fighting back. Nicola cannot quite get alongside Keith Moore and concedes a place.
And there's Jasmine Tan as well, trying to pick up the pieces there. Around the outside he goes, and well, Jasmine tries his luck. It's just unfortunate he just couldn't get a good run out of there.
Yeah, unfortunately, the R34 is going to have to try again. But again, we've seen the level of speed these R34s can pick up here on the straights. And in fact, Jasmine's already in front of Nicola yet again, just like how Keith Moore did. But I think Keith, either a bit of contact there from Jasmine or something has forced him onto the grass, and he lost some positions. He's now down into, 9th place, 10th place now. My goodness, what the heck happened there?
I think it's, again, the curves are coming to play here, because it could be a bit stiff in these cars. Yes, because 90s cars, as Alex once noted to us, that it is meant to be set up that way, but the curves as well can be quite treacherous, and that was probably the reason why Keith was spat out onto the outside of the Yost curve.
Yeah, he's still trying his level best now to recover here, but I fear that means for him at least, the effort that he has made to climb up those previous in the previous lap has now all gone to naught. He's now down back into 10th. Nevertheless, two RDD4s are now in the fight here. Aldo Balagulan as well as Rory Numer Riparip, who are both sporting the same livery of GTR here, but it's going to be Roy who is in the lead here, or at least in the lead compared to these two, because he's in the second place, I believe he's at.
Fourth place.
Fourth place.
Yeah,
so
second of the two Nissans in shot in the same Pennzoil livery with a bit of Cooler Master on the side, so that's a nice touch there to give the look of it. As they're still at it, Linus Stern coming out of turn number 1, the Nord curve, onto the first straight here, coming up to the Clark chicane.
Yep.
Neck and neck.
Nabil and Nakib are fighting as well for the lead here. I think we see Nakib being passed already by Nabil. In fact, Nabil is now trying to defend his position from his brother here, keeping Nakib behind. There's still 10 minutes left in this race though, so I wonder, is that a bit premature for Nabil to make the pass from here on out, because now he's going to be the one under pressure.
Well, the thing is, he was under pressure when he was in second, because he was trying to chase after Nakib in that final lap, only to overstep the mark and lose a really easy second place that could have been his to be demoted to third. So he doesn't want to have any of that. He might take the win here, but it'll be just a bit of a consolation compared to what it might have been if he scored second position that time round.
Indeed, I think for Nakib particularly, even finishing in second place here still means that he will get a massive haul of points regardless, because of the first race win he already committed this weekend. So nevertheless, it might still be okay for Nabil to finish in front ahead of him. I just wonder if he's going to be able to still hang on. Jasmine Tan now goes against Khan Zaini. Another position loss here for the Indonesian driver as he drops down to 7th place. Jasmine now up to 6th.
Yep, easy move again into class. Gold driver overtaking a silver driver. And there goes Jasmine up to P7 overall. And that, I think, is P6 overall. That's the top 6 all GT1 cars. So all the gold drivers have managed to get by then up to the top 6. As we're looking for other battles around, if there's any at this point in time. Oh, Kimo is actually on a recovery drive after being spat out into the gravel trap.
Yeah, up to 8th place actually. Already gone past both Nicola as well as Jaden Chia. So good recovery for him. Now next on his target here, Kanzaini. So unfortunately, Kanzaini might be on the verge of losing another position yet again as Keith Wall catches him on the main straight. Now looking at speed he's getting on the exit here. He's certainly going to be able to get alongside, if not ahead of Kanzaini by the time he get the turn. Jasmine Tan getting the fight onto Kelvin Powell. Looks like he's already ahead. Keith Wall going side by side with Kanzani. Not able to get ahead too much though. They will still have to bring this fight to the Clark chicane.
Yep, side by side they go, and it's almost the same amount of power because, of course, unlike the GT1 European Continental brethren that run in Europe, they're not running V12s or big V8s. They're running almost production-based engines, V6s, inline-4 turbochargers, you name it. It's not as beefy, but they still have the advantage through the corners because of the aerodynamic grip, and Keith Moore is using that to his advantage by overtaking Ramdani to move out to P7. So he's picking out the pieces here, and really then is a good little recovery drive for Keith. He sets his sights on the rest of the other GT1 guys.
Yeah, especially the one that's going to be directly in front of him here, Kelvin Powell, who right now drives that Supra. And Keith in that GTR is feeling very racy here for sure. Nevertheless, Kelvin Powell is also catching up to Jasmine Tan as well. 1.3 seconds is the gap between the 6th place and the 5th place driver respectively. So we could be seeing a three-way battle form if Keith Moore is able to get into the mix too.
Yeah, but it's like the case of the bronze class or even in the copper class where you have to get 2 or 3 people battling together to just form a big train here. But again, difference in speed and power, and plus we can almost safely say it, difference in capabilities as well, is allowing the drivers to just be a bit more settled in the gold and silver classes here compared to their 2 other class brethrens.
I mean, the fact there's less entrance in this category here certainly contributes to that because there's less traffic to deal with, especially in the starts of these races. But also, like, I think the skill level of these drivers as well allows them, to have these races where it's more about the management of the race rather than actually physically battling against others, isn't it?
Though having said that, we've had 2 start line crashes and also the first corner crashes. Probably because that it was not it was not mentioned in the driver's briefing, but we do need to have guys be concerned more about how to get off the line, especially the GTR guys, because I know I've driven these cars many times that I could count, that the GTRs actually have this kind of weird thing with the clutch where you had to be engaging the clutch until 60 kilometers per hour for it to get off the line properly. So it's like full clutch and then half of it, quarter, maybe just a bit less than that, just to get it off the line better. So probably some of these guys didn't practice their starts with the GTRs to get it off the line better, and that's why we had a bit of kerfuffle on the grid.
Understandable. I mean, that's certainly a tricky thing to do, especially with all these other cars that I don't think have the same or requires the same kind of clutch control. Nevertheless, Nakib and Nabil Aslan continuing to fight right now, and it looks like Nakib is closing in on Nabil now. 5 minutes still remaining, and he's allowed Nabil Aslan to lead those last 5 minutes, but now with the final third of this race coming to a close, Nakib looking like he's going to be on the attack.
I imagine if both of them, well, we're not wishing upon them, knock on wood for each of them, were to hit each other or go off spectacularly like that, Nakib nearly going off there. If they were to do that, we might set up a grandstand finish and Roy Ripperip might just be able to pick up the pieces here. So less than 5 minutes left to go. Anything's still possible, and these two have come to blows a couple of times in previous seasons, so they'll probably put it at the back of their minds that time around. But really, that when it wins on the cards, it might just be gloves off.
You know, the last time I've seen two brothers fight in Ferraris, the elder brother won. This time around, though, the younger brother is in front, and the race is not over yet. So are we going to see history repeat itself, or... Yep, the taunting is coming out. This is literally sibling rivalry right now between the two Aslan brothers.
Indeed. And we see how the battle's on track here between Keith Moore and Calvin Powell, but we're paying attention to the big one here. The battle of the two Titans, the two brothers coming up to the clock chicane, and there's Nakib on the outside, Twitch says on the inside. They both go into the grass, and Nakib looks like as though he has to give way, or does he? But it looks a bit, he looked like he had a penalty for a second. But no, they're still on it. They're still battling side by side with each other here.
Oh my goodness. Again, Nabil takes up in front of Nakib here. So he's going to have to do it one more time. Again, at the Oz curve here. Another chicane, and this time around, Nakib doesn't quite have enough speed to stay alongside Nabil that time. He backs out of it. So leaving this battle to go on to the Senna chicane here. Still, you can already start to see Roy inside the rearview mirror now, so that's a reminder for both brothers to try to wrap up this battle as quickly as they can, unless someone else is going to be able to take in front of them. Nakib and Nabil, a little bit of a touch there as they go side by side. Nabil still ahead of his elder brother by the time to get out of the chicane here, and the whole time, Roy has just been catching up. 1.8 seconds now from 4 seconds earlier.
Oh, come on, keep battling the both of you, because at least they're setting up a good grandstand finish with Roy not that far away from the both of the Aslan brothers. Nakib is really tempting his luck there, taking a very big wide line with the trail braking coming into the Sachs curve. But we saw how Nabil lost it in the previous race. He might just try not to do that.
Yeah, again, still about 2 minutes left, 2 minutes 30 seconds in fact. Remaining in this race, so likely we may see one lap at least, maybe even another lap to go here, and that means another lap here for Nakib and Nabil to continue battling. But the other limitation they will have is that of Roy Numer Riparip, 2 seconds or less than 2 seconds behind the two of them. So if the two were to get in contact, if the two of them would have the incident, Roy is going to be surely in place to pick up the pieces.
Yep, and I wanted to focus on Keith Moore for a second because he made up 2 positions in that previous lap against Jasmine Tan and Calvin Powell. Unfortunately, because of the two battling Aslans up in front, we didn't get to see much of that. But that's, again, a good recovery from Keith Moore after that slight spin coming out the Oats curve. He at least manages to get back up to the top 5, but he does have Jasmine Tan right behind, but we had to focus on the battle up in front. This is way too good to pass up here. If anything were to happen between these two, Roy Ripperip is there to pick up the pieces wholeheartedly.
Yeah, Jasmine Tan in the meantime continuing to chase. It looks like they are alongside. In fact, he's a little bit ahead of Keep Mo, but keep you guys updated about that as well as they enter the chicane of Clark here. And it seems like Keep Mo is able to get alongside Jasmine Tan to stay in his original position here. Nevertheless, Jasmine may have another opportunity coming up soon. Nakib and Nabil Aslan still about 1 second away from each other with 1 minute left. Roy Numer Riparib is also caught up as well. He's within a second of both the Aslan brothers here. So indeed, what you predicted is coming to fruition here. Oh boy.
Yep, indeed, the predictions coming true as Jasmine goes off, and that's it. That's the end of that particular battle, so we don't have to run between two particular cameras to find what's happening here. There he goes. Now, up in front here, whether or not Nakib can keep piling the pressure on his brother coming into the final lap of this race. Look at that, he's driving almost onto the ragged edge of the outer extremities of the circuit. He nearly went off again. They really love to maximize the exit. A little bit of welly too much there. Wheel spin coming out of the Sachs curve into the final sector here. Well, we'll need to stay ourselves here. Take a bit of a breath into the final lap, Victor.
Yeah, I mean, again, huge decision time here for Nakib. You know, will he go for some heroics and take a dive on his brother, perhaps risking both of their races here with Roy already catching up and breathing down their necks? Or is he going to try to hold position, hold up Roy Numer, allow his brother to take the win, and hopefully be able to get the maximum haul of points here for himself in this championship? I mean, the choice is literally in his hands right now. We are on the final lap.
Indeed. And one last tour of the circuit, the 6.8 kilometers of the old Hockenheimring being revived here for our championship. And it's a nice little rendition of it as well. It's really good. It's as if we travel back in time to put these guys in the circuit as if it was still back here. Now then, 0.6 of a second between Nakib and Nabil. Nabil seems as though he is backing off slightly a bit. Nakib really pushing it on this final lap. He managed to reel in the 1 second gap back to under a second. Oh, really, he's pushing his luck here. And if he were to overstep the mark, like what Nabil did in the first race, Roy Riparib is there to pick up the pieces here. Let's see then, coming up to the Clark out of the Oscar into the center chicane. Still not close yet, and he is away from that slipstream, Vic.
Yeah, he is. In fact, the whole time, Roy is not being able to close the gap either, so the three-way battle that we predicted may not even come to pass, really, as now they've already cleared the center chicane. It's only the stadium section that comes up next. We saw what happened with Nabil Aslan last time around. Will history repeat itself here?
Well, as you know, let's hope we don't jinx any one of them as we come to the chicane. Oh, luckily he missed the wall. Nabil really went a bit squirrely there, and so did Nakib, but they managed to hang on to it, and Roy doesn't get his early Christmas present, even though Christmas was only a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
This time around. But looks as though Nabil learned his lesson from the first race and just kept it together when it really counted, kept his powder dry, and turns into the final corner then to take victory in race number 2. He could have been an easily championship leader tied with his brother right now. Across the line, they both go. 1 and 2 again for the Aslan brothers. Roy Riparib with a heroic 3rd place to uphold the honor of the GT500s across the line, and there he is in 3rd. Aldo Balagulan, a very lonely 4th place. In fact, almost, well, it's not completely half a minute behind, but probably about 20 plus seconds behind, 25 seconds even. Across the line he goes, and there he is. 4th place for Balagulan, 5th for Keithmo. A valiant effort here. Really fought it against the big guns and takes the top 5 for himself. So he'll be delighted with that, despite looking a bit chubby on camera.
Yeah, that rounds up the top 5 here for our gold and silver class. But then let's see who else is going to be coming across the line here. Then we got Jasmine Tan as well coming across here. A fair effort from him, really. A lot of the battle between Kifmo and himself didn't turn out the way he probably expected, or at least wanted it to. But 6th place, still respectable finish, of course. Then we got Jaden Chia, who finishes just behind where Jasmine Tan was.
And winner of the silver class.
And winner of the silver class here indeed. So Jaden finishing on track in 8th position, but is first here of the silver class finishers. So he finishes ahead of I think the results has already kind of shifted a little bit now that some drivers have already left the server. But then again, those are your winners here for the gold class and the silver class.
Absolutely. And again, a slow burner. It really got there towards the end. But we were really expecting some fireworks to fly. It did happen in the first couple of instances, but it settled itself out towards the end.
Yeah, I think by the time we got I think the battle between Nabil and Naki probably would have gone on a little longer if Roy hadn't already caught up, you know? I think that once they saw him in the rearview mirror, they realized that the longer they continued its battles, the worse off it's going to be for the both of them, right?
Exactly, and that's why they sort of like leveled themselves out and just let one lead the other. But it looked like it was not going to stay that way for long. If we had another lap, probably Naki would have been chomping at the bit right at the back. But
I mean, it was chasing him all the way to the final quarter. Like, you saw how close they finished. Like, I think 0.3 of a second.
Yep, and Nabil was just making sure of that by cutting across into the inside to prevent any sort of late surprises from Naki. But it looks as though we might not be able to get any interviews in today. But it looks a bit. Let's see if we can get Nabil on board. And Vic, let's let you handle that one as. Nabil now finally wakes up from his little slumber and is ready for our interview. Nabil, can you hear us?
Yep, can hear you guys.
Yeah,
Perfect.
congratulations, Nabil, for taking it win there. Talk us through about how that battle was between you and Naki, because we saw both of you fighting so hard behind each other. What was your thought process going through those battles?
It was fun. It was I think the first move that he made after I think the first chicane, he pushed me off wide and he was quite nice enough to give me back the position. So then afterwards, we were quite clean afterwards, still battling. But then I think he made a slight mistake. That's where I got the slight breather afterwards, and I was just maintaining pace afterwards. And afterwards, I just brought it home. So yeah.
Yeah, good job. And I think I've also got to ask about this. Why did you guys pick the Ferrari 550? I mean, knowing the background, you guys, knowing the logo that's on your shirt right now, why the Ferrari 550?
It was just much faster down the straights, that's all.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah, so I mean, I wished I would have used the Supra, but then the margin between the Ferrari and the Toyota was too big, so I didn't want to risk it and be in the middle pack, so the Ferrari was the fastest overall, so opted for that one.
All right, so any questions you'd like to add here?
Nothing more than that apart from, well, the irony of the situation where you can, you're looking at your shoulder right now. That logo right there is looking really lonely.
More technical circuits for the next round, so I might change to the Toyota.
Okay, he's revealed his plans early.
There you go.
There you go. So we can say that Hockenheim's an outlier, but I think we're not gonna ask the question about what happened in that previous race. I think we know it was just a normal driving error.
Nah, you can definitely put that.
So,
I can put that in the back of your mind now. You won race number 2. What a recovery here, Nabil. So, congratulations once again. Thank you so much for the interview, and wish you good luck in the rest of Series 14.
Thank you.
Well, then, that is a very candid interview, and it might be a bit surreal for you because you also competed on the actual Toyota races as well with them involved. So, I mean, for Nabil, it was probably more surreal because he could hear the guy who normally commentates the races directly to you as well for this one. But slow burners on both accounts. Bronze really delivered with all the action, but really, then there's no way to put it about it. But we're looking for the rest of the season, and so is our partners are right above us there. Cooler Master, who provide us with a really nice rig over in Axel right now and partnering up with us for the rest of the season. Thank you for that. And of course, we'll be looking forward to more action next week.
Yeah, in fact, I'm looking forward to see what you guys will have in store for this season here, because this year is going to be a huge year for sim racing in general. So glad to see that you guys in the eRacing Grand Prix have already kicked things off this year or in this month itself, and looking forward to so much more action, especially what I've already seen here today.
Absolutely, and with going to movie analogy, normally January is the dead month, where all the slasher films and all the films that people forget will come out. Well, we're coming out fighting here. We just want to make sim racing as active as possible. We look forward to seeing you next week for more action. But for me, I'm always alongside me, Victor Cax. We'll see you next time, and good night. Drive safely.